fleuve commence à la source. En aval, les rapides. Une descente raide, chutant de plus de 40 mètres avant de remonter sur raidillon. En dessous, eau rouge. Une rivière calme s'y écoule. C'est aussi un virage célèbre et redouté par tous. Le circuit a évolué mais pas ce virage. Une capsule temporelle de ce que la course était auparavant. Le conduire, une fois, est intimidant. Le faire tour après tour sans erreur, presque impossible. Le fleuve s'écoule dessous, mais sa destination est aussi sa source. Du moins à Spa-Francorchamps.
All over the world, there's racetracks in beautiful locations, whether it's Circuit de la Sarthe in Le Mans, France, Circuit of the Americas of Austin, Texas, Watkins Glen, New York, or Bathurst, Australia. Racetracks all over the world are beautiful in their own very way. Tonight, we're at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and I'm in Colorado, in Fountain, Colorado, at Pikes Peak International Raceway, setting up for a wonderful weekend of action at Grid Life Alpine Horizon. But we're bringing you Sim TV as normal tonight on this beautiful Thursday. It's 6:24 here in Mountain Time Zone, and it's a lot later than that in Spa-Francorchamps. Welcome back to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna for our fifth round of the SCRS Porsche Supercup. Finian, I've been absent for a few weeks, but the action has not slowed down at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially Silverstone was a pretty awesome round to watch. I was kind of curious and interested in seeing how those cars are going to race. I thought it would have been a little bit on the more boring side of things. But these guys, especially considering how the line of the track is on high downforce race cars. But man, these guys put on a really good show. And we come here to Spa, and I can't wait to see these guys because almost anything that comes to this track, in my opinion, puts on a really good show.
Well, it's a racetrack that's been around for a really long time in the racing world, and we take a look at the beautiful sunset at Spa here tonight. Qualifying is underway for our all-AM race in a smaller field this evening than we're normally used to, Finney, because of some promotions that have occurred in the AM category. And obviously some drivers have promoted to pro, so we'll still have a pretty sizable field in our twin 25-minute races. But for our 15-minute AM race, it's going to be a slightly smaller field, and that's going to make things a little bit easier for some of the drivers spread throughout it.
Yeah, and those guys were promoted right before last week too, so it's the second time having this small field of drivers to work with, and it definitely has highlighted some more talent. Drew Lidke's been doing a little bit better after kind of having a somewhat slow start of the season. Drew Eisman also been a driver to note who's starting to approach his way to the front as we see him qualify, currently sitting second.
Yeah, his lap time so far, his best is a 2:25.675. That was the last time that he ran, and sits second right behind Lidke, as you mentioned. Steve Bunting in the 83 car is up inside the top five. Still, a lot of drivers have yet to run their times. Brian Chabelski, Ryan Plord, Andrew Mickey, Thomas Cooper, and Mick Blue all still have to lay down times here tonight. Is this racetrack going to favor the careful drivers or the aggressive ones here, Finney? We're running the endurance layout, which means that we start heading down into Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I think it might honestly tend to favor some of the more aggressive drivers, considering the amount of laps they have left to going to certain passing zones, or they have limited opportunities. So I think these guys are going to have to be a little bit aggressive, especially as the pack gets stretched out. If you can keep yourself close, while these cars aren't exactly draft reliant, you can definitely, if you got a good tow from the car in front, can set up a pass heading down the Kimmel Straight.
Well, of course, this racetrack in its modern form was constructed back in 1979. Stavlo, Belgium, the nearby town population 6,700 here, a quaint little town in Belgium. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, over 7 kilometers of twists and turns, 19 of them along the way, and also dozens of meters of elevation change, making this as challenging as it is scary for the drivers throughout the field. Eau Rouge, named after the river that runs below the racetrack. In that area, it is red, tinted by iron oxides, but you can kind of make up your own idea for what else it could stand for. Again, my name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. If you want to watch live timing and scoring of this event, you can do that at our website. That would be simtvbroadcasting.com/timing, as there's the weather conditions here. Air temp 64 degrees, track temp 66. It's a beautiful night. A little humid out there, though, Finian. 85% humidity. And as I mentioned, live timing available at the link below. So far, qualifying, Drew Lidke sits at the top of the board with a 2:24.315, 1.3 seconds above Eisenman. Is this one of these racetracks that separates the men from the boys, and how big are our gaps going to be between the competitors?
I think it's definitely going to be a little bit more on the large side of things, with the lap times approaching close to 2.5 minutes. So, the guys are going to be pushing a lot more. You're going to see the gap drop by tenths and even seconds at a time. And definitely, I think this is definitely going to separate the men from the boys, guys that can push into some of these corners, which again, a lot of high downforce corners at this track. So if you can push just a little bit more, as you see, talking about pushing up through El Rouge and Radion, with Drew Lidke currently sitting a provisional pole. He's 8 tenths up on Andrew Mickey in second. Actually, scratch that, Mick Blue has just gone a second, his teammate.
He just hops into second place in the number 96. And for those, no one's mentioned this yet, but I'm sure I sound a little bit different tonight. If it's better, awesome, and maybe I'll make a microphone switch. If it's worse, sorry, I'm traveling. Again, I'm at Pikes Peak International Raceway. I'm using one of my lav mics, so it's might be better, it might be worse, probably a little bit worse, but that's okay. Up the hill goes Mick Blue over Radion. Andrew Mickey, you mentioned, is third. Sean Foe's out there in the number 10. He's working his way down through the latter part of the course as well. We're riding on board with him here, Finian. And this is one of these racetracks in this car where there's a lot of high-speed action, but there's also some pretty heavy braking zones, especially down into the chicane that we're about to hit with Foes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also you got to watch it too as he's making the run down this little straight, little bit of a kink. Then down to Blanchemont. That's going to be a very difficult call for the driver. You're going to have to see him slow down just a little bit, get off the gas. You got to keep the car all fours on the track, goes up just a little bit wide. Actually, might have been a 1X as he comes down into the chicane. This is going to be another really solid passing opportunity for these drivers into the chicane.
It's all about setting up, and you see Sean Foe struggling to get the car rotated back around without losing the rear. So he'll accelerate up out of the corner, come across the line. Not going to be the lap that he wanted. It's, well, that's not even a time that's going to get recorded. It's an 8:51.777. So Foes will not end up on the board. Qualifying complete for our first of 3 races tonight, the AM race. And that qualifying lap, at least for pole, goes to Drew Lidke in the 1:21. Unless anyone can beat him in the final 53 seconds here, Finian. Looks like Lidke's going to be sitting on that top spot.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see his teammate again, Mick Blue, who's been starting to step up a little bit more as far in the pace department in that 96 machine. Showed some decent pace early on in the season, has now ticked it up, especially in these Yam Cup races, sitting in second. He's got enough time to complete this lap, barely enough time as he's heading down the straightaway.
Well, I'm sure it might have come through a microphone, but there is a stock car on the racetrack right now heading down through the Roval at PPIR. It looks like a Gen 6 stock car with a COT rear wing, and I hope it's a time attack car so I can get some pictures of it. But that's the nature of working at a racetrack. This is so cool. I wonder, Finian, if this is the first iRacing stream to happen at a racetrack on an event weekend. This has got to be, if not the first in general, at least the first for us.
Yeah, it was going to be really insane. It's funny, too, because you took the social distancing to its logical extreme. Yes. I'm in Long Island, New York, and you're way out in Denver, Colorado.
We used to sit literally right next to each other, and now we're about, I don't know, 1,600 miles away, something like that.
It's a lot of miles.
Yeah, but there's iRacing keeps us together, as it were. So I see Adam Dubé walking around down there perusing the facilities, but we got racing to do here at Spa-Francorchamps, so let's head down there and we'll roll through our starting grid. On the front row tonight, it's going to be the number 121 of Drew Lidke, lined up alongside him, his teammate, the 96 of Mick Blue.
Yeah, and moving on back another row, we find 86 of Andrew Mickey. He's going to be lined up next to Ryan Porter, another driver who's done really well, especially last week at Silverstone.
In row number 3, Brian Schabelski rolls off in 5th in the number 12, and Drew Eisenman's number 77 starts in 6th.
And moving on back, we find Ryan Daner in the 35. He's starting in 7th place. Next to him, Eric Brown going to be lined up in the 56 in 8th place.
In 9th place, Thomas Cooper in the 584, and Steve Bunting in the 83.
And that should be rounding out your field actually with just Sean Foes. Colin Daner, he joined the wrong session, so he'll be in the both the Super Cup races when he switches out with Ryan. They're both sharing the same computer.
All right, so on the front row, those two twin teammates. Of the two, which one's got the win here? I'm liking Drew Lidke. I like his experience, but Mick Blue has been pretty rock solid in this series ever since he jumped into it at the beginning of the season. And I wouldn't think it's impossible for him to steal this victory away from his teammate, but they might work together as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's imperative that they do work together well. Not at the very least, if they don't work together, just not step on one another, because that's very easy to do. If you try to make a pass on your teammate, you're just going to both cost each other time. So if they just kind of work together, just at least stay single file to try to work away from the field. They definitely seem to have the pace advantage over the field. Let's see if they can get it done here at Spa.
So heading down towards the bus stop chicane here at the tail end of the lap. And we're going to have about a 15-minute race here. 7 laps around Spa-Francorchamps. 7 kilometers of racing surface that we're about to explore here. A little bit of pushing and shoving happening in the background as we come out of the final corner. And now it's a wait down to La Source and into Eau Rouge here, Finney. This is going to catch a couple drivers off guard if you're not paying attention. We take the green heading down towards Eau Rouge after La Source.
Yeah, no, and Eric Ricky was cramming to these guys in their heads while we were sitting waiting for the pace lap to, guys were going out of the source, not coming out of the chicane. I thought I heard them gas up like they were going, but they're just getting sorted now. And here they come out of the source now.
Green flag flies, and we're racing at Spa-Francorchamps in the SCRS Porsche Supercup. The teammates get separated already as the driver sneaks between them. That's Andrew Mickey in the Bombshell 86. Now through Eau Rouge, they're going to rocket down the hill and back up again on the other side.
Whoa, no, and Mick Blue sideways out into the wall, and taking Andrew Mickey, who almost gets a piece of the wall, gonna just tap it on the straightaway as he's loose. Cold Tires catching 2 drivers out in front.
Yeah, Cold Tires for Mick Blue is gonna smash that car up against the fence. Lidke continues to roll, and he will take the lead away. Eisenman rolls in 2nd, Brian Schabelski in 3rd, then Ryan Daner in 4th. Eric Brown sits in 5th. So a dramatic start, a climb up the hill. Cold Tires on the Porsche, always a challenge. I thought it would be the braking zones that would catch cars out here, but there's an acceleration zone up through Radion.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see if this catches any more other drivers. That we got some really demanding corners coming up here, coming through No Name and then heading down to Pool. And that's also can catch out some drivers. That's very demanding as you see Ryan Daner all over the back, Brian Schabelski for 3rd place.
And Schabelski feeling the pressure now from Ryan Daner in behind in the 35 car, leaning on that rear bumper as they head into the sweepers here and drift all the way out. You see the 2nd place car, Eisenman, over the edge of the curbing. Daner chasing him down. A little bit of understeer. There's a big bump on top of that curb that you don't want to climb up onto.
Yeah, and you got to watch out here through these S's here slowly but surely. Got to make sure, especially not to hit the car in front if you're different on your line. Just got to back it up a little bit. He's trying to find a way around Schabelski, but very much single lane through those two corners.
Oh, he's right on the rear bumper now as they head through the far side of the course. Schabelski feeling that pressure from Ryan Daner, the youngster in behind in the 35. They've gained a gap on Eric Brown. They're losing ground to Eisenman. Now a crossover at the exit of the corner. Up the inside, here comes Daner, side by side as they head towards Blanchimont.
Yeah, and someone's going to have to back. It looks like Schabelski is backing off on the throttle a little bit. Going to let the 35 on by. He's going to settle for 4th place as they hit through Blanchimont for the first time.
And behind him, Eric Brown, Thomas Cooper, Ryan Plourde. And Plourde has been had a little bit of a slow start, but he's got a great run here on Thomas Cooper on driver's left now into the braking zone. Can he be more aggressive? He'll close, and get right to his rear bumper as they climb up the curbing and complete their first lap.
Yeah, and also note for Ryan Plourde, he got an well start. That's why he ended up near the back of the pack after qualifying up in 4th. So as the pace, he's already moved himself from the back of the grid up to 7th place. So you can continue to make that climb go even more forward.
Steve Bunting closing in on Andrew Mickey in the 86, who had that slip up in Radion on lap number 1, and Bunting has been able to take advantage of Mick Blue's missed opportunity. Blue is back to 10th place now, the 96. Sean Foes to 11th where he started. But up in front, Lidke continues to lead, and he's grown that gap to 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Heisman, again, not even going to get somewhat of a toe down the Campbell Straight. Again, not going to be too important, but nothing help you out. At least try to keep pace with the guys up ahead of you. So Heisman's not going to get there. He's going to have to settle for second at the moment, trying to hold up maybe Ryan Daner charging from behind. You see side-by-side action with Ryan.
Whoa, slip! Eric Brown off the race. Oh, that wasn't Eric Brown. Sorry, that was Thomas Cooper in the braking zone off to the left. It looked like he just locked up the tires there, Finian, and slid off the track. It's so easy to do. Let's go back and have a quick look at how he got himself into this position. And he was racing the 74 into the braking zone and just got a little bit overzealous on those brakes.
Yeah, I think, again, you're battling side by side with another driver. You try to outbrake them. Unfortunately for Cooper, dove it in too deep, realized he was in too deep, lock out the brakes, and looks like he got away with pretty minimum damage to the car, if any. Yeah, he's running slow, though. I think he cut the course and had to give up all that time that he had gained. So he'll roll on the racetrack back into ninth. Brian Chabelski now fielding Eric Brown in the 56, creeping in behind him as they head into the far side of the track. This place is so fast. The average speed that you're carrying around here, well up into the high double digits, low triple digits, and you're just trying to... These cars have a little bit of downforce, Finian, but they're not GT3 cars. Yeah, absolutely, and they're definitely not open wheel cars as well, so you gotta be careful heading through the fast corners. It's very easy to chuck them in there, but it's hard to maintain that speed, and that's where you might see a lot of the guys get caught out here in these opening laps. You see Eric Brown still trying to get a lineup on Chabelski. Looks like he's got a little bit of a better run here through Stavlot, heading down to Blanchimont, so we might see battle here, pursuit for fourth. Lidke leads by 1.9 seconds, but he has not grown it this lap. Drew Eisenman's actually reeled them in about a tenth, make it 2 as they come through Blanchimont at high speed into the braking zone for the bus stop chicane. Eisenman has been pretty good in most of the series we've seen him run, but we typically see him, I feel like we see him typically in oval series leagues, Finian, but he has kind of made it his own in these road racing series, and with the rainbow colors on the side of that car, has found himself quite successful. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him in SCRS before. He dabbled a little bit in I forgot which season it was exactly, but did run in Ferrari Challenge for a few races. Now back in Porsche Supercup. We'll see if he also returns back in the upcoming Ferrari Challenge season. I think that's Mick Blue finally coming to pit road. It was amazing he stayed out as long as he did, but now we'll get service to that 96 machine. Has a fast repair to use. So he will come on down to pit lane and get that fast repair, but the damage has already been done to his race so far. Chabelski, whoa, big slide for Eric Brown. Can he hang on? Tank slapper, what a save. That was unbelievable, Finian. You do not just slide like that in Radion and not crash the car. That was unbelievable. Yeah, that was incredible, the fact that he's able to save the car that sideways out of Radion, like you were saying. The car was wrecking. Woo, boy. And I'm going to ride on board Ryan Plurd's car as they came up over the top of Radion. I'm sure he had a face full of this, and watch this out the windshield. Oh man, that is a hair-raising moment, but good job by both those drivers, Plurd to keep his foot in it, and for Eric Brown to catch that car at a slip angle that would typically be a trip back to pit lane. It's still not done yet. You can see he's made up quite a bit of time back to Chabelski. Pretty much is running where Eric Brown would be if he didn't have that error earlier. You see him a little bit of a flash of the headlights warning, hey Brian, I'm coming for you. Definitely not done yet. Up at the front, the gap is still 1.8 seconds in our AM race here. About 4 laps to go when we come back to the start-finish line. We are on lap 3 right now, so closing in on the halfway point of this event. And Plord eating up the lead that Chabelski had grown momentarily, now down to 0.6 of a second. Again, now he's definitely going to start getting a little bit of that draft heading down through Blanchimont. Definitely not going to be close enough to make the move this time by, but definitely coming out of the source. That run is definitely going to have a shot down the Campbell Straight. We'll have to see here. I'm curious what Chabelski's going to do up ahead. If he's going to be passive or if he's going to actually defend this here as the laps start to wind down. Well, I think it's probably worth being aggressive here just because I feel like if you can get clean air and get out of the way of anybody crashing on the opening lap of the Pro-Am races later tonight, I'd rather be up there than in behind. So I think it's worth being a little bit riskier now and taking that opportunity in the AM race rather than wait to the Pro race and make it all happen. Andrew Mickey has had a bit of a spin. This is down in the chicane here. Let's have a look. Got us on the brakes and just a little too hot and just carried too much speed and just kind of slid off sideways. No harm, no foul. It's unfortunate because he had some really good pace, qualified up in 3rd place, running back in 7th. It's not the end of the world, but definitely could have been a lot better for the 86 as you're right on board with the 74 of Ryan Plord licking his chops because he's got a pass lined up here. Down through Eau Rouge, back up the car under compression. Then all that compression goes away as they crest Radion. Look at the run that he's built now, chasing down the 12 car on the back straightaway. He's going to step out to driver's right, and this should look pretty easy here in the braking zone. Yeah, they're side by side. We'll see if we see an outbreaking mistake here like we saw last time through with Thomas Cooper. Looks like everyone makes it on through okay, and Ford's going to get the spot.
It was a textbook pass there to Scott the Run. Was able to carry that speed past the 12 car and moves himself up into 4th place. Up at the front, the gap has stayed relatively constant. Still 1.8 seconds between the two Drews, Lidke and Eisenman. And
that just occurred to me that they both have the same first name. Oh, and the funny thing too is you look at 3rd and 4th, they have the same name.
Oh my goodness.
So Drew, then Ryan.
Oh man. And we don't have Brian Sohn here, but we could have had 5th and 6th be Brian and Brian. But sometimes things not meant to be. And Ryan Poole quickly growing that gap that Shavelski had over him. They basically swapped positions now with the 74, extending that gap and setting his sights on 3rd place Ryan Daner, who's had a really good run so far in that 35. He started in 7th. He's gained 4 spots up to 3rd and continues to run pretty solid laps. Not as quick as the leaders, but quick enough to remain where he is.
Yeah, him and Colin ran really well at Silverstone. Colin almost had a shot at winning the race, finished inside the top 5 in both the races, including the race with the invert. So he did really well for himself here. See if he can do even better here at Spa. I feel like might suit Colin a little bit more, as well as Ryan's been suiting him pretty well so far.
So Drew Lidke out front continues to lead this race, and given that he started on the pole, this is what was sort of expected. And Drew Lidke has always been kind of riding that cusp of being in the Pro Series, or in the Pro Class, I should say, and the AM Class. Is this showing again another sign that he should be in the Pro category, or do you think that he should fight tooth and nail to stay here?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's tight. It is really tricky, as you're saying, because if I'm not mistaken, again, I'm pretty sure he won the AM Championship one year in Ferrari Challenge, but he's just at the head of the Amfield enough to consistently run near the front, but I don't think he's quite on par with guys like Hundinger, like Eric Mickey, James Walker, and the few of the other guys you've seen dominate pretty well in this series. And I just don't feel he's quite up there with them to be considered a pro, but definitely as far as the AM drivers are concerned, definitely he's out there. So he's kind of in this weird middle ground.
Onto the Kemmel Straight, the leaders sail on through. 3 laps to go at the line this time. And now the gap has grown back to 2 seconds. And a bit of a lull here, but for Mick Blue, the damage to his light has already been done. Wasn't he the driver that had that horrific crash at Monza in the opening round? And
yes.
Even though he had a lot of pace, it just didn't end up working out for him that day.
Yeah, got into Isaac Snyder into Parabolic in the last few laps, so yeah, it just didn't play out. But again, he stepped up the pace, but similar to Isaac Snyder, just the consistency it hasn't been there. And it's unfortunate because, again, he started up in 2nd place, but that big mistake on the opening lap cost him dearly back in 11th place.
You can watch all the live timing and scoring here at ctvbroadcasting.com/timing. Finian, we've got our 2 Pro-Am races, but they're coming up a little bit later tonight, so we got a bit of an adjusted schedule, if you could kind of highlight that for us.
Yeah, so the start of this race actually got pushed up 10 minutes. So we got a bit of a gap around 20 minutes between the end of this race and then the start of the Supercup qualifying.
Yeah, so you can remain here. I'm gonna kind of go over what's happening here at Pikes Peak International Raceway this weekend while Finian takes a break. A very well-deserved one. And for those that don't know, Finian is sort of on his way out here the next couple weeks or days. Been here a long time, Finian, but I think it's time for you to kind of move on with your life. You got a real job now.
Yeah, I know. That's really the only reason I am. Otherwise, I would continue doing this. But between that and taking more classes, I kind of have to move this to the side, unfortunately. I will be available and might pop my head up here and there when I'm needed. But as far as full-time, I'm definitely going to be having to take a step back.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you, too. But you got to come back. You have to come back to this side of the country.
Yeah. Yes, I do. All right, Ryan Daner feeling the pressure now from Ryan Plurs. We hit 2 laps to go from the race leader, and Daner, a bit of a flash there. Internet not quite as good as mine here at Pikes Peak. I'm actually really impressed with the internet so far out here, Finian. I'm at a single frame drop, and I'm at a racetrack. Oh, touch! And Plurs is going to turn him around. Well, that was a little naughty there.
Yeah, I'm not sure though that was on Florida if Daner just went through the chicane, through La Source too slow.
Let's go back and
have
a look.
A combination of both.
I think you're right. Let's have a look from up above. And was he too slow, maybe? You can make the argument that was maybe a touch slow. So I also see that Mick Blue has also had issues, and it looks like Sean Foes has as well. No, I don't think they were related, but let's go back and see what happened to Mick Blue. And this is heading down into, what do they call this section down here?
Has a name.
It's a name that I can't pronounce, but it's the long right-hander, and he just locks up and heads off into the gravel.
I think Bruxelles? I don't know. That's my attempt.
Yeah, oh, well, I'll take it.
You took French. You should know this.
Yeah, I didn't learn. Well, okay, first of all, we're in Belgium. I know it's French-speaking Belgium, but I'm just, hey, I didn't learn racetrack corner names. I learned, like, hi, I have a red tractor. You know, like, you learn stuff like that.
How do you say that? How do you say
I
that
don't
in
know, man.
French
I didn't learn the word tractor. Who drives tractors?
I don't know.
I guess people are around Colorado, probably.
Oh, I was going to say farmers in general, yeah.
Whoa, there's Andrew Mickey, a little squirrely on the AstroTurf on the exit. As they are completing their penultimate lap here. Up front, though, 3-second gap for Drew Lidke, and I'm really excited to see where he's going to land himself in the pro race.
Yeah, and props to Eisenman, too. He's been following him quite a bit. Hasn't had quite the pace, especially last lap, too. Eisenman made a big mistake, cost him about 0.6 of a second. But for the most part, he's been somewhat keeping up with the 121. So I think both these drivers, and even you could throw in Ryan Plort, who drove his way up from the back of the grid up into third. I think those three drivers are definitely ones to look out for heading to the Supercup race when combined both fields.
So you see Brian Chabelski feeling the pressure once again from Ryan Daner. And for those that were asking, yes, Finney wasn't lying to you. He's on his way out. He'll still be here in a limited capacity here and there as we get the white
People
flag.
Thought I was lying.
What's that?
No, I said people thought I was lying.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's not a joke. I mean, it's actually kind of frustrating because it's so easy to do this with Finian, and it's like now we got to train everybody. But we've got Connor Horn coming up. He's been a great student as we got a great battle here for 7th with the 83 of Steve Bunting and the 86 of Andrew Mickey, and here he comes up the inside. This is for 7th spot.
Yeah, both of them side by side until the source to see here who's going to give up here as they take the white flag.
That's about as close as you want to get.
Oh, and the 83 Bunting goes wide and around as he clipped the gas on entry.
Mick Blue has also gone off once again, so his night continues. I think that frustration just got to him. Here's Ryan Daner throwing a block on Eric Brown, weaving to try to break that draft as they head down the Kemmel straight into the braking zone. And now it's just a racing battle into the braking area for Eric Brown, who slipped and slid off to the driver's right. That was Mick Blue, who looks like he's done for the day. But Daner's chasing Chabelski, Brown chasing Daner, cat and mouse, and dog chasing cat as they head down into the right-hander here.
Yeah, I think really for Chabelski, he doesn't really have to worry, I don't think, too much about Daner. Well, if he stops flashing on the track, up there he is. I thought he was going to be gone for good that time. But I think really the big worry is only really coming on the back straightaway heading to Blanchimont. I think that's where Chabelski's got to really be worried.
And all the distractions, and this is, if you're the lead car, you're in Chabelski's shoes right now, this is annoying, but this is sort of what you have to do to try to make a driver make a mistake, and that's what they're doing right now. Up in front of them a long ways is Drew Lidke. He's almost done with the final lap here, but Chabelski still has Daner to deal with in at least one more chicane, and Daner is there. He is close enough to make a move here once they get down to the final bus stop, and Eric Brown is there in case they get together.
Flashing their headlights in this train of cars. Ooh, and Daner, a bit of a mistake, went a little bit wide. That's going to cost him a bit of time.
But they're going to head down towards Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. Meanwhile, out front, Drew Lidke in the 121. He has been the dominant force of this one, the checkered flag waving for the 121 car. And he'll get to do it all over again in about 20 minutes' time in the Pro-Am race. As we go back, here they are, side by side, Chabelski and Daner racing into the bus stop, into the braking zone. Daner's in deep. Can he hang on? He does. And a great outside maneuver, and Chabelski gives it up. Daner to P4 out of the last corner, and now it's a run to the start-finish line, and Daner grabs it. What a move there in the last turn for the 35.
Yeah, textbook move there by the 35. Daner has done a really solid job for Chabelski. Unfortunately, he's going to drop back to 5th. Still a good run for him. Another side-by-side battle heading into the final chicane.
I was just scrolling back to show Ryan Daner here. We're on board with him now. And we get to watch it again. That's the beauty of it. Ope over the curb, now sweeping back to the left, and just made it look so easy into the braking zone. And it looks like Chabelski is not super confident on the brakes here tonight. He's backed out of a couple situations like this. But with that, we've got our race complete. And here is a look at your race results. Again, this is just for the AM race. We've got the Pro-Am coming up here in just a few minutes. But our 10 drivers plus Mick Blue back in 11th. Lidke out of Canada, Drew Eisenman out of Texas, Ryan Plort from the Plains, Daner comes home in 4th, then Brian Chabelski rounds out in 5th, and that's got to hurt for Chabelski. A had 4 spot will end up in P5.
Yeah, and you were talking about it right there that he wasn't brave enough on the brakes. The thing again, that's what we were talking about earlier before this race went underway. Is who the drivers are going to be more aggressive later into the deep braking zones, coming into the chicane, and also on the opposite end of the track, down at the end of the Kimmel Straight. You have to be aggressive and make those passes happen, otherwise you're not going to really move anywhere, and you might move back.
All right, so what's our timeline looking like here for is the next session already open? I might change sessions that have a little podcast segment here. So what do we think?
Yeah, the session's already up for the other guys are in practice.
All right, so we're going to step away for just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the Pro-Am race, and we'll have a little chat about what's coming up this weekend on the Grid Life YouTube channel. Stick with us.
Tous les fleuves commencent à la source. En aval, les rapides. Une descente raide, chutant de plus de 40 mètres avant de remonter sur Raidillon. En dessous, eau rouge. Une rivière calme s'y écoule. C'est aussi un virage célèbre et redouté par tous. Le circuit a évolué mais pas ce virage. Une capsule temporelle de ce que la course était auparavant. Le conduire une fois est intimidant. Le faire tour après tour sans erreur, presque impossible. Le fleuve s'écoule dessous, mais sa destination est aussi sa source. Du moins à Spa-Francorchamps.
Welcome back live to Sim TV. I almost said Grid Life. We got a lot to talk about here, but we're back live on Sim TV on location, well, at least I am, at Pikes Peak International Raceway here in Fountain, Colorado, as we wait the start of our Pro-Am races here this evening. We're going to settle down and just watch some track action in the meantime. We'll have the timing and scoring running on the left-hand side of the screen, just so you got something else to watch. You're good. We got people coming in and out in the background. We're just kind of on a podcasting note while we're waiting for races, so you're all good to be in and out. Anyway, so Finian, this weekend we've got Grid Life Alpine Horizon at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Fountain, Colorado. This is a new one for me to have the whole rig down here, but we've got all sorts of fun stuff coming up. Streams Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're night racing on Saturday with a top 10 shootout, and I hear we're trying to get the top 10 shootout on the oval. And so what that would mean is that we have 4 races each weekend in Grid Life Touring Cup, and what that would mean is that after race 1, we've got our finishing order. We take the top 10 drivers, and each one of those drivers, one at a time, will get to run 2 laps on the oval. The fastest time of those 2 laps is what lines you up for race number 2, Finian. So almost like NASCAR style qualifying.
Yeah, it honestly just sounds really cool. Just having the cars on the oval, which you typically wouldn't see. I was kind of amazed to hear that, oh, they're going to be on the oval too, which is awesome, because I remember the last time I drove Pikes Peak in a video game was an IndyCar game done by Codemasters, I think IndyCar 2003. So, and I've never heard of anything of the oval since. So that's pretty cool. They actually get a chance to drive around it. Yeah,
I think it's still pending approval of if we can get a practice on the racetrack, because I don't think Adam wanted to send cars out on an oval that they've never been on before without any practice, because that could be bad. So we're going to try to see if we can get that to happen. But we're also night racing, and in the past, we actually haven't done a GLTC night race on stream before. And what that means is drivers, if everyone remembers the All-Star race, Finn, I don't know if you've caught how the neons were implemented in NASCAR.
The underglow?
Yeah, the underglow.
Oh yeah, where they made it by manufacturer, and it
was really boring and stupid. Yeah, this is not boring and stupid. This is, hey, we bought 50 LED strips from Amazon, and we can stick them wherever the heck we want and make them do whatever the heck we want. So if you want to watch some awesome light shows during a wheel-to-wheel race at a roval, you're going to tune in to Grid Life Alpine Horizon at youtube.com/gridlife on Saturday night. If you're not doing that, I don't know what else you're doing, unless you're Finney and you're running streams, because I'm over here. So I think that if you're not watching the Grid Life stream on Saturday, you're doing it wrong. And then pop over to Orel for a couple minutes, but then go back to me. So I'll be live all weekend, and if let's pretend that if you're crazy and you're a little bit stupid, wheel-to-wheel racing isn't your thing. There's also Time Attack that you can watch, which is basically drivers engineering, and actually teams and individuals and organizations engineering the heck out of race cars. So if you like Formula One and you're all about the engineering side of it, that's what Time Attack is. It's all about developing a car to like the last possible tenth of a second out of it. Sequential transmissions, big C6 Corvettes, big wings, and if you're into aero, you're into downforce, all of that and more in Time Attack. We've got drift, and we're going to be drifting under the lights as well. And I'm going to have my co-commentator this weekend is actually Jared DeAnda, who is the Formula Drift announcer. So I'll have him with me this weekend for GLTC too. So drift, Time Attack, as well as GLTC. And there's one more thing, Finian. Tomorrow night, at roughly, I think it's going to be about 10:40 Eastern. It'll be 8:40 here local time. We're running Grid Life iRacers. We're running MX-5s at the Charlotte Roval right there on that stream. So it'll be Grid Life YouTube channel. In the middle of a real racing event stream, we're going to run Sim TV's Grid Life iRacers. So how about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say my friend of mine was asking about that, because I'm not sure how exactly they're involved, but it was my teammate. It's my teammate in another series. He mentioned to me about it. I was like, I have no clue what's going on there. But I heard you mention about that too. If you want to explain, I guess, a little bit more about that.
Well, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I'm not a very good podcaster.
The Grid Life iRacers run.
Yeah. So, what do you mean? How to explain like what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, this is still sort of like a semi-private thing, but if you're a member of our Discord, you're very much invited. You can basically, you're going to look out for DJ Alessandrini, but he's going to do is he's going to post about it. He'll probably give you a password, and it's what we're going to do is we're going to implement iRacing into the Grid Life stream. It'll be 8:40 Mountain Time, so 10:40 Eastern tomorrow night If you want to be on the Grid Life stream, which got over 100,000 views at Mid-Ohio, this is the place to do it. So if you want to rival the eNASCAR Coca-Cola thing, we're going to get view counts similar to that, at least on Facebook. So make sure that you're watching the Facebook stream as well as on YouTube, because the Facebook stream is really where all the views are, and that's going to be a blast. So make sure you check out Grid Life's Facebook page as well, Finian. But MX-5s, the new global MX-5 at the Charlotte Roval. It'll be 10:40 p.m. Eastern. And make sure that you're on our Discord. That link is in the description. If you want to be a part of that, you have to be a member of our Discord. Otherwise, you ain't gonna get in. We're gonna try to fill the grid up with 60 cars. So get there, be square.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome to do. I honestly wish I could take part in it, but unfortunately, I'm gonna be busy.
Yeah, I was trying to look and see if there was a time slot on Saturday, and I don't think there is, at least not in the evening. So it'll be Friday night. Saturday's really the big night here, and there are spectators allowed to an extent this weekend, so it's not the nights are pretty cram-packed. It's interesting because we actually start streaming later this weekend. I think we go up kind of mid-afternoon versus like we went up live at like 9 o'clock at Mid-Ohio every day. So it'll be towards the late afternoon on the East Coast that we go live every day, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And just make sure you're watching because GLTC specifically is going to be a blast to watch. Eric Cattill's here, Tom O'Gorman's here in his S2000. He's a 4-time IMSA winner and twice TCA champion and SRO TC World Challenge America. We've got Ryan Upham here in his BMW M3. He'll be rocketing that thing around the Roval. There's also a C5 Corvette that's entering GLTC this weekend, and it's a competitive one from what I've heard.
Oh, it's not who's driving it?
I don't know the name of the guy yet. I have to go down and...
Oh, new guy?
It's a new guy. It's not... So Chris Tuttle had the C4 Corvette that you might have seen at Road Atlanta last year. And that car's pretty and it's cool, and it's pretty competitive. But this car, I've heard it's a WRL car. So it's pretty much up to spec. It's got a 5.3 in it, so it makes a lot of noise from what I've heard. And it's been very reliable. It's got about 300 hours worth of racing on it. And it's on its third motor, I think. So it's been around the block a few times, but it's going to be Corvette versus Civic versus S2000 versus M3. Well, if you want stock car racing, you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, honestly, that's really crazy to see. I can never imagine having a Corvette up against an S2000 and a Civic and be competitive also as well.
And this is a really interesting track. I was actually talking to Tom O'Gorman about this because my thought process was, I thought this would be a horrible track for torquier cars just because the torquey cars are usually bigger, heavier cars. I thought that'd be horrible at a tight track like this. But it turns out the way you get up and dig off the corner, all these acceleration zones, you want to have a big Chungus car with a lot of torque, and you want to have those V8, the V8 legs that those cars have, which is not something that Eric Cattill's Honda Civic will have, even though it's going to be 2,000 pounds lighter. And that's the whole draw to GLTC is that the diversity in the cars and the classes. And again, everyone is just balanced basically power to weight, and the rule book is very open. You can run aero, you can run without aero, you can run a V8, you can run a 4-cylinder, an i6, whatever the heck you want. I also hear that there's a 4-cylinder Supra currently in production for GLTC for next year.
Ooh.
And there's also a Cayman that has run a bunch of races this season. It's not going to be here. None of the winning Formula cars are here, including Scott Bulling's Cayman. But there's a lot of diversity in that class, and that's why I'm so enthusiastic about it, is because I know a lot of people have still, even in the SimTV realm, have not seen GLTC and still don't get why I'm so impressed with it. I watch a lot of racing. I know you watch a lot of racing, Finian. GLTC is one of the best series to watch right now, period.
Yeah, especially if not for anything, just the sheer car diversity where he's talking about putting Corvettes up against Civics, up against S2000s, up against BMWs, including a Honda Odyssey. Speaking of which, what's happened to that Honda Odyssey in the midst of all this?
Because of the COVID-19 situation, that car, the funding for that team was pulled for this season. There was a horrible sound outside. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what they're doing down there. So the funding got pulled for that car. It still exists, but it's not actively being transported or raced. I think there's a plan to eventually bring it back, but I can't say when or how long it'll be until we see it again.
Okay, I figured something like that because of COVID. Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, I do know that our season-ending races, we're at Pikes Peak International Raceway this weekend, and then I'll be gone again next weekend for SRO America at or not next weekend. It'll be 2 weeks from now. It'll be Road America for SRO America, And then I'm going to be heading back to Road America 2 weeks after that for the what otherwise would be the season finale for GLTC, but we have the Midwest Festival pushed to October. So this is the third to last round of the season. So it's Pikes Peak, then it's Road America, then it's Gingerman Raceway to round out the season, and Gingerman will be another festival. So this is a festival, and Gingerman will be a festival. Road America was just racing. Oh, doing a lot of talking. I gotta be careful. The streams are long this weekend. So I got I think Saturday we're up for 9 hours.
Ooh.
So
yeah, that is a long one.
Yeah, I think we roll, and correct me if this is incorrect math, but we roll off at like 2:30 and we end around like 11, I think, p.m.
Oh yeah, damn.
So it's not, and that's Saturday. I think Sunday's shorter, and Friday we go up, I think, in the afternoon, but I don't think we run until 11. But the official schedule I don't think is public yet, so I'm not going to divulge that here. But again, as we get prepared for our SCRS Porsche Supercup race here, just remember that to watch all this and see Sim TV in a very real world setting, I'm looking at the wall at Pikes Peak International Raceway right now at the window. If you want to see Sim TV do real racing, you head to youtube.com/gridlife or facebook.com/gridlife if you want to watch those streams this weekend.
I can't wait to see the stream when I can.
Oh, I also thought I forgot to mention there's dirt stuff this weekend too. There's a dirt road course just to the south of the facility, and I don't think it's going to end up on the stream. I'm sure there'll be like a highlight reel and stuff. I don't think we're actively doing streaming of what goes on over there because it's more of like just like a rally course than anything.
What's going to be driving on it?
I know that there's a Stadium Super Truck here that's going to be doing some jumps.
Damn.
And I think there's some big off-road trucks, and I think there's gonna be a few rally cars.
So, like proper rally cars?
I think so. I don't quote me on that, but I've heard rally cars, that term said. So,
okay. That's pretty cool. Even then, that's still pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So, again,
are they going to be doing like actual races, or just going to be like?
No, I think it's just either a time trial thing or just for entertainment. But I do think they are shooting video of it. I know at least today that they were going to jump the trophy truck and shoot video of that in slow motion. So that might pop up on the stream now and again. But the majority of the effort and focus is on what happens on the pavement this weekend. I got to walk the track earlier. I also got to golf cart ride around the racetrack. If you like
what was your lap time?
Long. There were 7 people on the golf cart. So including me, so it was very slow. I think if you're like me and you like curbs and curb hopping, watch this race because every driver out there at night is going to be throwing sparks up 10 feet in the air. I mean, these curbs are a good 6-7 inches off the ground. They've got ripples. They've got just smooth, flat curbs. It's a little bit of everything, and we run all the way from the exit of 4 all the way around to the entrance of 3 flat out in these cars. So it'll be a lot of 4-bangers wailing down there, but it's gonna be an awesome sound, an awesome sight. So make sure youtube.com/gridlife and facebook.com/gridlife to watch that all this weekend with myself and Jared DeAnda, a Formula Drift commentator. He'll be with us. Live stream for the MX-5 race, just reading the comments here. Live stream for the iRacing race. It will not be separate. It will also not be on Sim TV. It will be included in the Grid live stream tomorrow at 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So
it's tomorrow. Oh, I can definitely do it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Did I say Saturday the first time?
I thought you said Saturday.
Okay.
I think you're good. I think you said Friday.
No, yeah, it's definitely tomorrow night, 10:40 p.m. Eastern. Make sure if you Finian, if you're in DJ's Discord, make sure you grab that from there just so you get the credentials quicker. But yeah, we're gonna try to load up the field with 60 cars. We're also gonna try to make it not a complete fiasco. So
I'll be running in 55th.
Okay, good to know. Well, at least you'll be a part of the fiasco in some way. I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. I think this is sort of a risk that that Chris is taking with Grid Life here, sort of trusting us to do this properly, and we're going to do our best. I think it's going to be a good show, and it's going to be it's going to have the exact same stream graphics that we're running on the big show. So the only thing that's going to be different is the transition from the virtual or the real world to the virtual world, which I think will be really neat. I have to wake up at the crack of dawn tomorrow to get those graphics packages in line, but You know, it's all in good fun. I'm excited. Oh, also, fun fact, this is so cool. I mentioned this to you earlier, Finn, but there's an iRacing banner hanging over turn 2 out here, which
is there?
I think I told you this earlier, but there is definitely an iRacing banner hanging over in turn 2. And I'm shocked because this is definitely not in iRacing.
Yeah, no, I am. Even more than I think about it, I'm kind of surprised that it isn't, right? Because it feels like it would just be an easy like track. Because people know of Pikes Peak, like especially older IndyCar fans definitely know the track.
I should also mention that from where I'm sitting, I can see the peak of Pikes, the Pikes Peak. I can see the one. It's out my window. I can see the one that they do all the fast car stuff on. Yes. It's a beautiful mountain range. It's actually just to the south of the track, and there's one section of grandstands remaining here that is taking up most of my vision out the front window, but out the side I can see the mountains.
So how high are you above sea level?
About 6,000 feet where I'm sitting.
Damn, that's insane.
And I think that the peak is 13,000 or something. I could get corrected on that.
Ooh.
But it's tall. I mean, and it's so weird because it's actually pretty flat where we are. There's a little bit of hills, but like it's flat, and then boom, mountains. But they're off in the distance. They're probably 10, 12 miles away from here, but it's very pretty. It dominates the skyline. Or the horizon, I should say. Hey, Alpine Horizon.
Hey.
Funny how they tie that in. So we got qualifying underway. I think we're going to continue with this for a couple minutes because qualifying is qualifying is qualifying. We'll try to jump around to some other shots here while we wait. But another cool thing is that you can see the weather coming from miles away out here. I wish I had my camera set up. I meant to do that, to set up my DSLR so that everyone could see. But
I was gonna say, you know how you do your star maps. Is it better out there?
Yeah, I'm actually planning on doing one. I don't know if I can do it tonight because it's cloudy. But if I get a chance, I'm gonna do a Star Trails out here with the racetrack and one with just the mountains. So I'm gonna try. It's gonna be really neat. It's gonna be pretty dark. There's not a whole lot out here, other than the town of Colorado Springs is about 20 minutes away. We ate at an IHOP this morning at 6 a.m. and it was good. I had biscuits and gravy, which were spectacular. And I know I should have done. Everyone's saying I should have done behind the stream here. I should have. I should have brought my webcam, and I didn't. I have my DSLR here, and for tomorrow, for the actual Grid Life iRacing stream, I might set that up to just look in. We should have a camera set up in here that runs down to the main production trailer, so I don't think I even have to set my own up. I think they'll just have it down there. I have a banner sitting behind me, so I think they're intending on shooting at my face. So, but I don't know. And for those that were also, I haven't really talked a whole lot about other than posting pictures about the GT World Challenge America thing. That was fun. It's definitely a culture shock. It's a huge difference from Grid Life. It's very much upscale in the sense that everything is very meticulously put together and taken down. There's fake plants outside all the haulers to make them look nice. It's just a lot more about the perception of it, which is cool, and the racing was fun. I got to see GT4 and GT3 and TCR and TCA. A lot of good racing that I saw. And Sonoma Raceway is an absolutely beautiful track. Way nicer amenities-wise than I was expecting.
Yeah, can you actually say what's coming for you there, or is it supposed to be
I can sort of say. I don't really know.
I don't want to say without.
Well,
I don't want to say without.
No, it's more than I don't really know what's going on. It's not that I can't say. It's that the plan is, and again, for those that weren't aware, hey, I watched the GT World Challenge America stream. I didn't hear you. Yeah. So I'm not on the main stream yet. I'm not that cool yet. I'm working for CrowdStrike, which is a big security company that basically they typically have their CrowdStrike employees come as guests for their race team. CrowdStrike Racing runs a Mercedes GT3 in GT World Challenge America. So their people couldn't come, so they said, hey, why don't we do a private stream for them? And so that's what we did. So that's why you didn't hear me on any of the major channels. The plan as of now is to go to Road America in 2 weeks' time and to do the same thing again at Road America. And then after that, I heard Indy getting thrown around for the 8 hours of Indy, but that's also a clash with Grid Life Midwest, and I don't really want to get into that decision-making process yet because that's not an easy one. I still have no idea what my plans are in that regard. So I don't know. I think it was a cool opportunity. I think Sonoma was cool. Road America, the National Park of Speed. Everyone knows I love that place, and I'm excited to go and at least at the very least, get kind of a crash course on what the track looks like and how it feels before I get to go for Grid Life and hang out with the bros.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you definitely need to highlight this, Juice. How all over the country you've gone? It'd probably be worst time to go all over the country. I went across. Yeah, this is not good. Please don't do what I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do, and I say don't do what I'm doing. So yeah, earlier in the year I went to Gingerman Raceway, which is in South Haven, Michigan, for the Grid Life event out there. Then it was Audubon Country Club, which is in Joliet, Illinois. And then the next event on the list was the Sonoma event, right? No, Mid-Ohio. Mid-Ohio was next. Mid-Ohio for Grid Life. And then it was a flight out to Sonoma for 4 days and a flight back. And then immediately I got home at 5 o'clock on Monday for my flight and immediately got turned around the next day. And at about 1 o'clock, I left for Columbus, Ohio to meet up with Ed CZ and Tom O'Gorman. We were loading up their cars into the trailer and took a 20-hour road trip nonstop. Well, 3 stops for e-brakes. 20 hours straight to Pikes Peak. So that's where we are now. And I did get a COVID-19 test taken. My results have not come back yet, but I'm a couple days removed from the flight. And at this point, if I was going to have something, I would have something, I would think. But again, I'm not recommending this to anybody. This is really not an ideal situation, but this is sort of that thing where like, I have this cool opportunity that I might not get to do again. So like, I'm sort of willing to take all the precautions necessary to do this the right way. Yeah, you have to. The opportunity you're given, you pretty much have to.
That's what I figured. So, and my results still not available. I just checked. So, should be expecting those anytime soon. Honestly, if I have it, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm, oops.
If you do, that's just a whoa.
Yeah, that's definitely an uh-oh moment. But I feel great. I feel the best I've ever felt, and I was really happy with that. I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep because sleeping. The guys had to run. Ed CZ drove all the way here, 20 hours straight with no sleep breaks, no driver swap or anything. And I slept in the back, but to keep themselves awake, they were blasting music the whole way. So yeah. It was awesome. I had a good time. It was a great road trip, but I got only 3 or 4 hours of sleep, so I'm a little low on it as well. And after this concludes, I'm going to run down. I got some more things to do to wrap up before I can turn in for the night. But I don't know. I'm loving life right now. This is a cool thing to do, and I'm very grateful for everybody, including Grid Life and SR America, for giving me these opportunities. And so thankful for you, Finian, for allowing me to go away and leave you with the keys to the gate, so to speak, for a couple weeks. And it hasn't fallen apart yet, so thank you.
Yeah, don't speak too soon with that. Still got some more to do.
Well, a couple more. At this point, I don't even care. I think you've earned a couple mulligans at this point. So.
Yay!
So I think I should be back in again. This is we're gonna leave on Monday, so I'm gonna get back kind of midday Tuesday, and I'm not gonna leave Columbus until probably Wednesday. So I will do the fuel stream from Ed's house on Tuesday night. I'll be back for SCRS on Thursday, and then I have a whole week until I got to be anywhere else. So to kind of get Connor trained and ready to roll. And again, thanks to Connor Horn for stepping in. Also, I guess while we're waiting for qualifying to conclude here, we should do a shout out for anybody who is capable of producing live stream events. You don't have to commentate them if you're capable of producing. And here's are the requirements. You need to have a computer that is capable of running iRacing at the high at very high settings at 60 FPS with a full grid in view. You also have to have internet that is capable of at least a constant 15 megabytes a second upload speed, wired Ethernet. If you have those two things, and you have also, if you have more than one monitor, that's a big plus. If you have those things and you're interested in getting started in iRacing broadcasting, this is a good place and a good time to try that. So send me a message. You can do that on our Discord, which is a link in the description, or you can email me at simtvbroadcasting.com. Okay, I think it's time to go over the qualifying order here, Finian. James Walker, we're looking at him, pole sitter.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about him. He almost swept Zandvoort completely. Definitely swept the AM Cup and Porsche Supercup race 1. Didn't get 2, but finished 2nd in that race and immediately got promoted to the pro category. And he has been dominating ever since. So he's been running really well for himself. Currently leading qualified. Then we got Zach Buchanan, Carter Kundinger, Kurt Crum. Kurt Crum notably wasn't here last week at Silverstone, and then Chris Hudson in 5th.
So has Zach Buchanan gotten a win so far? I feel like he has. But if you could correct me on that, that'd be awesome, because I feel like
he won the second Super Cup race at Zandvoort.
That's what I thought. Okay, so he is definitely on the board in terms of wins, which is great to hear. So Zach Buchanan, we're off on the outside of that front row. We'll take you to the row here in just a moment. We are in our first of 2 25-minute events here tonight. And thanks again for joining us here on SimTV. If you're brand new here, make sure to smash the subscribe button and the like button and do all the YouTuber things. The science shows that if you ask, it helps. Fun fact.
Is there actually science?
It's my science, which is a very small sample size, but it does seem to have a correlation. So I appreciate that. And let's roll through our starting lineup. We don't have a super long pace lap here, so let's get it started. On the front row, it's going to be James Walker, the aforementioned number 97, and Zach Buchanan in the number 40 in 2nd.
Moving on back at Carter Kundinger sitting in the 0-2 in 3rd place. Next to him, Kurt Crum in the 87 lining up in 4th.
In row number 3, it's going to be Chris Hudson's number 43 car and Sean Unterkuffler in the number 9. He rolls off in 6th.
Moving back to 7th place, we got Eric Mickey lined up in the 88 machine, and next to him, Ryan Plur, the first AM driver in your starting lineup.
In 9th place, it's going to be Mick Blue in the 96. He struggled in the AM race earlier today, and he'll try to do a little bit better in this one. Colin Daner starts in 10th.
And moving back to 11, we find Drew Lidke lined up in the 121 there, and next to him, Isaac Snyder in the 333 in 12th.
In 13th, Kyle Edwards-Lamb in the 42, and Bryce Calusa bought this car 30 minutes ago. He rolls off 14th. Oh boy.
Moving to 15th, we find Brian Shabelski sitting there. Next to him, Nicholas Morelli lined up in 16th.
In 17th, Eric Brown in the number 56, and Andrew Mickey will roll off 18th on the outside of row number 9 in his Bombshell Racing Team car.
In 19th, you find Sean Foes in the 10. Next to him, Steve Bunting in the 83 will line up in 20th.
In 21st, Thomas Cooper's 584. 22nd, Drew Eisenman in the 77.
And rounding our field in 23rd will be Race Clark, and that'll round up your field of 23 cars here ready to go at Spa.
Pretty sizable grid at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Well, so maybe we won't do that. I don't have a microphone on that scene.
Quick note, real quick, a few EOLs, Isaac Snyder and Ryan Plur, they're going to be dropping back to the pack. So for Ryan Plur, he's got to drive up the field all over again. Yeah,
the reason why I don't have a mic on that scene just yet is I added a new source that I didn't mess up my settings for my boom mic back at home. So yeah, so it's a new source I added to other scenes, and I want to make sure I have it. All right. Well, there's a little flash from the internet. Here we go. James Walker, Zach Buchanan up on the front row, and SCRS Porsche Super Cup. Round number 5 is about to go green as we wait for the run down to the La Source. There's 23 cars. There's a bunch lined up a start in the rear with those EOLs to serve. And we wait for the green flag to fly. 25 minutes, 2 of them about to roll. Here we go. Walker, Buchanan, Kundinger, Crum, and Hudson. Green flag flies in the racing at Spa-Francorchamps as they rumble down towards Eau Rouge. Over the crest of Radillon, so far so clean as we head down the Kemmel Straight here, Finney. Here's Zach Buchanan blocking a little bit, running a defensive line from the drivers in behind him into the braking zone.
Okay, Carter Kundinger trying to fight with him side by side for that second spot. It's going to be to his left side and on entry. Now going to have a bit of an advantage. Now it's going to go away again as Buchanan is going to clear for that second place spot.
And Buchanan's got it. He's going to hang on for now. But Carter Kundinger's not done yet. He's going to slip out to driver's left. And behind him, Chris Hudson, that's Kurt Crum, rather, up the inside. Late dive there. He's alongside him. He's going to get through, but now the crossover back to the left. Kundinger has the preferred line as they sweep down the hill.
Yeah, through No Name they go, and it looks like Kurt Crum, I thought he was going to back up. No, he's still going to push down as they head towards Poulon here side by side. And someone's probably going to have to give here.
Side by side, Crum going to slip and slide out a little bit wide. But Kundinger's on through. Here comes Unterkuffler and Chris Hudson. And Hudson has a good run here on the tailpipes of the 87, but backs out for now. He's going to try again here on the far side of the course.
Yeah, it's all about lining up your corners through this section here, trying to get a one-up on the driver up ahead of you as you ride on board with Chris Hudson, trying to chase down Kurt Crum.
Up over the curbs, the sunset glaring over the horizon through the forest and the trees here by Seville, Belgium. Up front, Walker, 0.3 of a second from Zach Buchanan. Buchanan's had a good first lap and is starting to close that gap back to the 97.
It's only going to be about touching base here. You can't let Walker out of his sights. I feel like that's how he's going to lose rates. He needs to get again a little bit of that toe down some of these straightaways to keep in touch with that 97, who is again the man to beat on raw pace.
Braking zone into the bus stop chicane. Buchanan closing in tighter and tighter as they wind up the hill to complete their first of about 11 laps here. James Walker leads the way as they cross the start-finish line. Then Kundinger, Crum, Hudson, 3, 4, 5, Unterkuffler, Mickey, Blue, and Calusa rounding out the rest of the top 10. Nicholas Morelli's back there as well. Here's a battle for position. 6th place Unterkuffler with Eric Mickey going around the outside.
Yeah, Mickey tries to make a dive to the outside of the source. Couldn't get it. Duncy's going to line up back in behind. Unterkuffler as they head down to Réunion. Or sorry, to El Rouge, then to Réunion.
It's Réunion, actually. A bit of a spin in behind is Isaac Snyder. Big spin. There's another car off the 42 car. That's a Project 2 machine, Kyle Edwards-Lamb. And I wonder if there was a touch here that maybe started this. Oh, yeah, a touch from the 86, which would have been driven by Andrew Mickey. That was where that all started. Now let's go back up line because here comes Buchanan right to the tailpipes of the 97.
They couldn't quite get it done heading down into Lacombe's, and has got the lineup back and behind him, but definitely starting to mount the pressure, and I think he definitely is showing that he has the pace to at least sticking behind the 97. If he has enough pace to make the pass, we'll have to see here.
I think he's good enough to win, but so is Carter Kundinger, who's in behind. Trouble for Race Clark, and looks like that seems to be, it is Race Clark and Thomas Cooper in the 584, so they've had a bit of a run-in together. I like the way that the 40 car looks here, Finney, in the early going, even with battling the cars behind him at the start. He has run down Walker again, but Kundinger in behind is sneakily hanging out in third, and maybe he's the one to watch.
Yeah, he's trying to put a little pressure on Buchanan there, got pretty close as they head to the first sector of the track, so another driver to watch. They got 3 teams up near the front, all really fast cars here that can continue this on.
Nicholas Morelli fighting off Bryce Calusa, who self-admittedly just bought this car a little while ago. I'm not sure how much I believe that because he hasn't crashed yet, and it's really hard to jump in this car and be fast.
I mean, he is a pretty good road racer. Did pretty well. Won at the Indianapolis road course in ORL, so he's definitely established himself as a road course driver. And what experience he has, I'm not quite sure, but definitely seems to be familiar in, if not the Porsche, at least GT3 style machinery. He's doing pretty well for himself, as you're saying, up in 10th.
And carrying all this speed through Blanchimont, leaning the car in, tipping it in, letting it slide out to the exit curve, but not over. That turf gets very slippery, very fast. And then the run to the bus stop, he's got Lidke closing in from behind, the AM race winner. He has not gone anywhere yet.
And it's not the highest AM driver at the moment. That goes to Mick Blue, who's currently running in 8th. His teammate and Mick had a very poor start at the beginning of the AM race, but is doing much better for himself. They're running in 8th at the moment.
Into La Source, where the whole ride begins, right to the rear bumper. Goes the 121 of Drew Lidke. Unable to get alongside now as they head down towards Eau Rouge and flying over the cameras.
Zero running straight over the curve, and almost everyone running the same exact line on entry here, and then up to Réunion.
Oh, big cut there for Lidke. I think he's going to be able to hang on to the spot, but if you cut that, that is a massive time penalty that will hurt you dearly over the course of a lap.
Yeah, and you can't afford it, especially if you got a big group of guys around you. You can't afford to cut that corner, because that gives you, it's going to cost you many spots.
And the darkness is beginning to fall here, Finian. Is that going to be much of an issue? It gets pretty dark at Spa, and do you think the waning evening light is going to be a discussion towards the end of this race?
I don't think so. I think these guys should manage it. I remember I was talking with Eric Mickey. He was actually asking me, what's a good time of day to, set for this race so that it doesn't get too dark for these drivers. So I don't think it should be too much of a problem.
Oh, look at that scene. Spa is definitely one of those most beautiful tracks in the world. A must visit for sure. As Morelli has had a must visit from Bryce Calusa in behind. That's for 9th.
Glue's mounting the pressure here. If he can get past Morelli, he can potentially try to catch up a group of drivers running 6th, 7th, and 8th. just up the road, but having to deal with Morelli at first here with C, and we've seen Morelli do a pretty decent job defending for himself, so it's not going to be an easy fight.
Eric Mickey dealing with Sean Unterkoffler in behind him, the bright yellow Hertz-sponsored car. Oh, that's what's on it. Yes, it is. And this is a pretty good scrap for 6th place. Eric Mickey is a driver that started all the way back in, well, 7th, up 1 spot. Unterkoffler started 6th, has fallen back to 7th, so they have just traded spots, basically.
Yeah, made a pass on lap 2 is what Eric Mickey managed to pull off, and he's been up there ever since. Unterkoffler's been trying to get it back from him to no avail so far.
Carrying all of the speed into the bus stop. Leaning on these brakes, Undercover's in really deep. Can he get the car stopped? No lockup. Once you lock the tires on these cars, it's very hard to get them unlocked without sliding off track or massively missing your braking point. It's just once you've missed it, it's over.
Yeah, it really much is. And you gotta hope that you don't hit anyone else up ahead of you, because it's a very real problem if you're not careful.
And a good battle. Forward at 6th spot continues to heat up with Eric Mickey out in front. James Walker leads by 0.4 of a second over Zach Buchanan. There's that gap there. Blink of an eye. Kundinger, Crum, Hudson. There's Mickey. Unterkoffler and Mick Blue all together as they climb up right on.
Oh, still a really great battle. See Unterkoffler get really close to cutting the corner. I think was able to avoid it. You can take a lot of curb through radio, but you can definitely push over the limit. I think you should be good because you can see continuous speed behind Mickey.
Oh, a spin up front. It's Carter Kundinger, the 3rd place car. He's looped it in Lake Home. What a disaster for a driver that was on podium. Around the outside goes Eric Mickey to grab 5th spot, and Kundinger's tires will be hot and upset after that one. Let's go back and have a look.
I just sent it in too high here. I don't think it was around anyone.
Got on the curb a little bit in the paint, going to reduce the friction available for those tires, and that was all it took. And you saw the car swerve off to the left there. Just didn't have the grip it needed in the braking zone.
We'll say really decent recovery to not loop the car around. He's got back immediately in position. He's only just lost a 5th as he's gotten back around the 88 of Eric Mickey. And
Mickey putting that pressure right back on. But I think Kundinger's a little faster pace-wise. And speaking of faster pace, let's talk about the 2nd place car. The other Project 2 machine, the 40, is Zach Buchanan. He's right there with James Walker. It has not gone any larger than 0.4 since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, and he's not going to let Walker out of the sight at this point. Again, I'm curious if he's just kind of waiting, biding his time to the last few laps to make that pass, or if he's all that 40 has got. To see. If not, a 2nd place, still really solid run for Zach Buchanan. And I still think, again, once we invert the field, he's going to have a bit of an advantage over Walker. We saw that at Zandvoort, was able to beat the 97 there with the invert.
Well, you can start out front, you can stay out front. That's a whole lot easier than passing everybody. And as long as Buchanan can keep Walker honest here, that tells me he's got the pace to win the thing in the 2nd race of the evening for the Pro-Am Championship. Meanwhile, Unterkoffler, Mick Blue, the 9 car has sort of fallen into the clutches in the 96, who struggled in the AM race earlier tonight, but this race going a little bit better for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a few positions he can make up here. He's even trying to set up a run here down the straightaway on Unterkoffler. Can't quite get it done with the runoff, but he's definitely got to show you see Unterkoffler going defensive.
Staying on drivers right into the braking zone. This corner is so much tighter than it looks when you first turn in. All of a sudden, you go, where did the track go? And it just goes away to the right. And then it's the longest and most important straightaway with Eau Rouge, one of the most intimidating corners in motorsports, all in between.
It's a fantastic complex that has been a part of this track since it pretty much broke ground, really. This has always existed as a pit straight. You see them work up through Eau Rouge and Rayon yet again. Unterkoffler, man, he's been really pushing the limits. If it's not through Rayon, off the track on the side, he went flying over the curbs.
Yeah, and you're talking about Eau Rouge. Again, this racetrack in its current form has been around since 1979, but it's been around for much longer. Oh, big dive for Mick Blue. Going to get the car stopped just in time, but here comes Nicholas Morelli to driver's right.
Absolutely, Morelli now going to peek himself to the right side, entering the corner, and you see Blue with the pinch, and he's going to keep the spot for now.
Here comes Kalusa up the inside, taking that opportunity, and also dragging in Mick Blue's teammate, Drew Lidke, into the group now. So it's a 4-way fight for 8th spot.
Yeah, it all started really once Kundinger made a mistake that bunched all these drivers in behind with each other here as we're just about halfway through the race. It's all starting to kick off.
Oh, swipe out to drivers left. Morelli just trying to get out of the mirror. Saw a lot of headlight flashing in the AM race earlier. Haven't seen those drivers devolve to that just yet. That's a tactic that is often very distracting. And if you're buddies with the guy in front of you, you probably aren't going to do it.
Yeah, probably not. If anything, you're going to save it until the end of the race. I'm sure you don't want to be doing it throughout the race. You can give someone a seizure that way.
Or the end of the night, because the other guy can get behind you and do the same thing back. and probably drive you up the wall. So there's always that risk as well. But Mick Blue a little bit wide at the exit, and Morelli tracking him back down. Kalusa and Rudke, line of start 8th through 11th.
Morelli got a pretty decent run here through Stavelot. Now the run down to Blanchimont. Morelli's got the run here. Curious to see if he's going to make the pass. It's always really tempting, but also really dangerous here, the run through Blanchimont, side by side.
Oh, man. Then they're going to single file back out again on the run down to the bus stop. And Morelli peeks out to the right, trying to use every bit of racetrack. Now darts to the left into the braking zone, down a couple of gears. That set Mick Blue off to driver's right. Means you have to compromise his exit a little bit. Ooh, the 5 and 121 almost got together as they rocket out of turn number 19.
Yeah, Morelli tried to set up a run through the chicane, but Mick Blue pretty much parked the bus in the middle of it, and Morelli had to back off, lost all his exit speed.
Well, that's sort of a
Oh, no! He makes a mistake off the track.
Oh, that just like that. That's how quickly things can go away from you. And it's been the braking that's been the trouble spot for Mick Blue tonight. I think he's just going to get on the binders a little bit too hard, lock them up. Right there, just watch the car dart to the right and then back to the left. And it's a slow, lazy spin, no damage there. Oh, out of the lead. James Walker must have had an issue.
Oh, yeah, he's all the way back in third. This is interesting to see here.
Oh, I know where we
cut the... Yep.
Here's a look. Up the hill at the top of Radillon. Big cut. And that let Zach Buchanan on through, and now Buchanan's got a 1.3 second lead over Kurt Crum. Where's Kurt Crum in the standings here, Finney? I have to imagine he's up there.
Yeah, with drop weeks being adjusted for Kurt Crum's running in third, Carter Cundinger in second, James Walker your points leader. And there's a bit of a gap between Walker and Crum, about almost 20 points, but Kurt Crum, again, you can start making them up here if you get finish ahead of the guy you're fighting with.
Well, James Walker, again, a TDR driver, is sitting in behind Crum and is quickly reeling him back in. And this is what Buchanan wants to see. Having Crum and Walker battle together is going to leave Buchanan with plenty of time to drive away. We're definitely halfway into this race now, Finney, so that tells me that the only thing that Buchanan can hope for is that second and third fight themselves to the point where they can't run him back down.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's going to start happening between these drivers here, over the next few laps. Crum's definitely not going to be easy. We've never seen him want to give up a spot too easily without a fight, and Walker is going to want the position because he feels he has pace to lead this race. He's doing very well by himself up in front, so he's going to definitely force the issue here.
There's Brian Chmielewski and Drew Eisen, and who started, I think, where did he start, actually? I'm kind of curious here.
He started in 22nd.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he started out back. That's up 10 spots for the 787. That's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, that's just saying to keep an eye out for him. He's been doing pretty well in the AM category. And now trying to side of the pass. And Chmielewski had a bit of a look heading to Blanchimont, make Chmielewski go off the track. Indeed, he was successful in that. Now, Green One has to back off, though, because Chmielewski was in the racing lane.
And they're going to run side by side into the bus stop. Not quite. And again, Chmielewski has been a little bit timid on the brakes tonight. Everyone else has been taking advantage of him through those sections. Crossover at the exit of the corner for Eisenman. Now it's a drag race down towards La Source again.
There's a bit of a run here. So Chmielewski's going to take the left side of the track. Eisen saying, okay, I'm going to go right here into La Source, deep on the brakes.
And can he get the car stopped in time, tucked in? He will. It looks like Chmielewski will give that up. And here comes Mick Blue. After his lazy spin in La Source a lap ago, he's recovered and starting his climb back forward.
This definitely isn't over yet. I think Chmielewski, he went out behind Eisenman on purpose here. He's going to have a nice run. If he can get a decent run out of Radillon, he can have a nice run down the Kemmel Straight.
And use all that slipstream here as well, right on board. Brakes. Down. 1, 2, 3 gears. Back over the curbs, and he's so fluid with this. But as we watch this conglomeration, there's also one for second place. Kurt Crum and James Walker. Now Crum getting a little bit antsy look in the mirror, seeing this 97 car come back through.
Yeah, again, you're going to have to check his experience down out of Stavelot through Blanchimont. That straightaway going to get another very good passing opportunity as Walker gets closer and closer in his mirrors. Ooh, Kurt Crum going to miss the apex by a mile. Very off corner. That's going to cost him. And now you can see Walker right there.
Big mistake there for Crum, but Walker not in the position to be able to take advantage of it. But he'll have to stay in third for now on the bottom step of the podium. Again, a little bit of a missed exit. It's going to kill the exit speed with 9 minutes to go in our first of 2 Pro-Am races tonight.
Crum off the track again, going to hurt his run. Here comes Walker. He has the run here. He's going to pull to the left side here.
Oh, this is going to get really dicey as they head towards Blanchimont. Oh, big slam the door for Kurt Crum. Right into front of the 97 of Walker, now into Blanchimont. That was definitely a alpha move by Crum, saying, you're not going to pass me there. He shut the door and kept second for now.
Yeah, he had to do it. If he gave Walker the lane, he very much could have made the pass. See Walker going to try to have a look here. A sneaky look up to the inside into the chicane, going to get it done.
And well, all this, they're actually not losing that much ground to Buchanan. They're still 1.4 back. And this time through, it should be about 4 or 5 laps to go. Make that 4. So Buchanan trying to stretch this lead out while these two skedaddle behind him. Here's Nicholas Morelli and Drew Lidke. And Lidke in behind with Bryce Calusa, 2.5 seconds back. Carl Luke did, I think, as Drew Eisenman. Yes, he has. He's put it in the pit wall.
Oh, and I hear there might have been an incident.
Oh, there was. Here's a look. Watch at the bottom right of your screen. There is the 96 of Mick Blue. Too deep. And rolled him over. Yeah, I saw the headlights go flashing around. So he rolled over the 77. I'm sure there will be some hard feelings there for second. Here comes Walker up the inside into Lacombe. Past Kurt Crum.
Solid move there. We'll see if Kurt Crum can try to retaliate. I don't think so. I don't think he's up to the pace that the 97 of Walker has. We'll see if anything, he can try to follow him in behind as Walker now going to try to run down Zach Buchanan with just about 4 laps to go. A little bit less than that.
Yeah, about 3.5 now with 1.1 seconds. That's the differential. We'll see if he can get that back. Meanwhile, Mick Blue with the damage on his car. He's got Shavelski and Plord tucked in behind. This is all a fight for 11th spot.
Florida 2 leading the AM category standings over Christian Nose, then Drew Eisenman in third for that category. So he's doing pretty well with himself. Again, another drive from the back to the front here. And the interesting thing too is because it is a top 16 invert. I need to double check if he's eligible for it. But he's looking to be lined up at the front of the field the way he's going to finish.
For second place, Kurt Crum is not done with Walker just yet. And Walker's not done with Buchanan. Buchanan's established himself over a 1 second lead. It's about 15 car lengths, but is that going to be enough?
I think it might. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, I think Walker has a shot at catching him, but I'm curious to see the lap times this time by with Walker out in front.
And can he utilize the draft from 1.1 seconds back? I would think that that's just on the cusp of using it.
Yeah, I think you're getting at that point just a little bit of toe, nothing really much to write home about.
Right, left, up the banking again, and start our 9th lap of 11. That puts us with 3 laps to go.
At the line, Walker was actually slower by just about 0.5 of a second.
But can Buchanan stay consistent? It doesn't matter if Walker can't get faster, if Buchanan throws it all away. So we'll have to keep an eye on this fight, and will Buchanan feel the pressure enough to make a mistake that will take him out of the lead?
Oh, I'm actually sorry. I read that completely wrong. It was actually almost more like it was actually a second that Walker made up on Buchanan.
Ah, yeah, you're right. The 2:22.216 is showing for Walker versus a 2:23.160. So Walker did reel Buchanan in, and now if I'm Zach Buchanan, now I'm feeling nervous.
Yeah. And now he's definitely very much, as you see, out of the gap. 0.5 second between our leaders. Very much within the draft range, and as you're saying, Buchanan is now going to start after you drive in his mirror a little bit. He's going to have to be very defensive. We'll see how far he's going to get here with that 97 again with Walker. A lot of pacing behind, but catching is one thing, passing is another. Speaking of which...
Here's Nicholas Morelli on Drew Lidke. That's for 8th. Wasn't able to complete it that time. But he's definitely hounding the back of that car. Meanwhile, behind them, Shavelski and Plord just traded spots. Shavelski up to 12th.
Trying to get a run here through Lacombe to try to get back on him.
With 4 minutes to go, we're going to have 2 laps left when we get back to the start finish, and Zach Buchanan is going to have to get real defensive. It's hard here though, Finney, because it's difficult to get away from a driver that's chasing you down with that slipstream.
Yeah, it really is. It's you know, you look in your back mirror and you can only just see the car approaching you closer and closer in the straightaway, and you're pretty much a sitting duck. Your only choice is either stay in line or go defensive, heading down to the next corner. Speaking of which, now we're on that straight running down to Blanchimont. I think Walker's going to be a little bit too far back. If anything, he's going to use this straightaway to close up to that 40. I think it's going to be the run down the Kemmel Straight that's going to be the issue for the 40.
The Kemmel Straight's an issue for everybody that's leading, and the problem is you can defend on one side, but just pass you on the other. Because of the way Lake Home is, you can make a pass on drivers right, you can make a pass on drivers left. I don't think it really matters where you place the car, as long as you can get sufficiently there. So 2 laps to go for Zach Buchanan, with Walker chasing, then Kurt Crum sitting in third. And if you're Crum, you just sit back and watch the fireworks?
For Kurt Crum, again, you got to think bigger picture. He's got to finish ahead of James Walker at the very least. Zach Buchanan isn't too big of a threat in the overall standings just yet. But you need to start finishing ahead of Walker at some point. You can't afford to lose any more points. And again, each race counts. He'll definitely have a bit of an advantage starting one position ahead in the second race with the invert, but I don't think it's going to be worth too much for him. It's going to be having to finish ahead of the 97, though he's starting to lose pace with the top 2.
2 laps to go. Walker closing in 2/10, now 1/10 as he rockets up the straightaway. Buchanan goes defensive. I'm not sure. Look at the run he's got. He might, not quite. Braking zone, side by side. Buchanan's going to crowd him to the left just a touch. And now, Buchanan expertly played this game of chess at 100 miles an hour through Lake Home, and he does. Hangs on.
Yeah, a really solid job right there. You can kind of wipe a little bit of a sweat off of his forehead, though. He's got to do it one more time through the final lap. That's really going to be, and even in the final part of the lap, too, you can't count that out. We've seen a bunch of surprise moves down into the final chicane.
Well, the pressure is felt because Kurt Crum is also really needs to in while they fight. So maybe mistakes being made by Buchanan. He's running only 3/10 off his best lap, but James Walker's best lap is 8/10 better. Half a second better than Buchanan. So that 97 is definitely a little bit quicker in the long haul here. It's just a matter of if he can get by.
Buchanan's engine a bit deep offline, was about half a lane offline. Almost so much of what we saw Kurt Crum do earlier in the race that pretty much led to the 97 getting to his rear bumper.
They're working their way through the far side of the course now past Stavro and set themselves up for the white flag here in just a moment. Pick me a winner, Finney. Which position would you rather be in right now?
Oh, I'd definitely rather be in the 97th position because, again, Buchanan, he's a sitting duck not only on this run, but also, again, down the Kemmel Straight. And we saw last time Buchanan got pretty lucky that Walker didn't get that good of a run. I imagine that 97 is going to be setting up a stellar run here as they come to take the white flag.
I had to pick up my camera and take a picture of the sunset over the mountainside. Sorry about that. I'm coming back as it's very pretty out there right now. Through the final corner, Buchanan, Walker. Bit of a slip there for the 97 as we pick up the white flag. 1 lap to go in race 1 of Pro-Am and SCRS Porsche Supercup from Spa-Francorchamps.
It's going to be important for Buchanan. He can't afford to make a mistake. Doesn't matter what Walker does in behind. He himself can't afford to mirror drive and mess up El Rouge and Radion. If he cuts the course, it's over.
So don't cut the course, but it's easier said than done when you have to carry speed to prevent losing it when you come up over the top of the crest. Through Radion now. Buchanan, Walker. Expert line there for Buchanan. He didn't give up a whole lot of ground, but it's still the slipstream that's going to help the 97 in tow.
Oh, and Walker got a fantastic run through Radion as well besides the run, and he's got the run to even further that here side by side. He's going to have a really good run to Lacombe. Can Zach Buchanan hold it on the inside?
He's going to have to break it really late. He's going to leave him plenty of space now side by side with Lacombe, but he can't hold it. Walker's through. Not clear yet, though. Now he's clear of Buchanan, and Buchanan's going to get back to the inside. A great move there by the 40 car, but he's held up at corner exit. Here comes Crum taking a look at the inside.
Yeah, Buchanan wasn't able to hold it there. Again, really tough sections. Very much as he said, you can pass on either side at the end of the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe, and you saw Walker do it right there. Now Buchanan, it's not over yet. He's got one more opportunity heading down to Blanchimont. If his nerves are, if he still has his nerves here through Blanchimont into the final chicane, that'll be his last chance. It depends on how badly he wants it.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong there. He just got outraced. It's the slipstream that will allow the 97 to get by. Buchanan was pretty much perfect in how he tried to execute that. I'm not really sure that could have been prevented here without some more pace out of the 40 car. Big dive into the braking zone now. And this might be a little bit far back unless Walker makes a mistake.
And again, he's going to focus here this run through campus and then through Stavlo. That's going to be the biggest moment here for this race for him.
But he does a slow exit. Couldn't get the power down there. They're going to sweep on through, head towards Blanchimont. The last opportunity for these drivers as they sweep their way on through. And will Walker make any mistake? He needs to make something if Buchanan wants to win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's way too far back unless Buchanan absolutely sends it.
Nice line there for Walker. No pressure from behind. About 5 car lengths back. Can Buchanan close? A dive up the inside. Can he spook James Walker? He cannot. With a last lap maneuver, Walker. Oh, Buchanan, a push and a shove. and not quite going to get there as here comes Crum up the inside. That's for second at the line. What a drive. And James Walker is going to grab it. Buchanan second by 79 thousandths of a second. That almost came down a little too close.
Yeah, dude, he gave an apology to the 97. Didn't mean to do that. I think he's just too focused on trying to get the run in case something happened, and gave a little bit of a tap. But great run by our top 3 drivers.
What a race. That was spectacular to watch there. Is Spa-Francorchamps bathed in the glow of headlights. And I wish that everyone right now, and I promise tomorrow for the grid live stream, I will have video of this, but the sunset outside right now is unreal over the mountains. I'm sorry, you're hearing my camera clicking.
I hear the camera.
I'm being a tourist, but it's so pretty outside. Okay, now back to work, Kyle. All right. It's just, this is a beautiful, beautiful venue. Well, let's have a look here at the race results. At the top of the order, James Walker gets it done. Buchanan second. Both Canadians taking that top 2 spots.
Yeah, Canada having a good day with those 2 guys in the top 2 yet again. Second time they finished 1-2 this season. Actually, this might be the 3rd time actually that they finished 1-2 this season. Pretty good run for both of them. Kirk Crum got to settle for the 3rd place on the podium. And then looking down the rest of the order, Bryce Calusa, how about 8th after only owning this car for what, 30 minutes?
Well, that's if we believe him. I still don't. That's really hard to do. I'm sorry. You don't just jump in that car and be fast. But if that is actually what he did, that's really, really impressive.
You see the run the rest of the order. Kyle Edwards-Lamb, not a particularly good run for him. Same thing with Isaac Snyder, too. Not sure what happened to him, Snyder, but again, he's just not had the consistency where it matters.
All right, we're going to step away for just a moment. We'll be right back for race number 2. Stick with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV Night Racing at Spa-Francorchamps. If there's anything that incites fear in a race car driver, it's driving at night or in the rain. But tonight we just have one of those two things at Spa. Welcome back. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. It is a very dark Spa-Francorchamps right now here, Finian, but there are parts of the track that are lit, but for the most of the lap, it's going to be just headlights illuminating the way.
Yeah, pretty much the only lights that I can think about off the top of my head are, pretty much the around the start-finish line here, then through Les Tours, then through El Rouge, and then Radion. And that's about it. There's like one or two other bridges around the track that are lit up. And yeah, the rest of the track, as you're saying, pretty much bathed in darkness for these drivers. They can only see from their headlights.
We've got our second race here, Finian. Tell me how we're lining up for this one and who to watch out for.
Yeah, I think definitely gonna have to watch out for James Walker, Zach Buchanan, and Kurt Crum. Those three guys looking really quick, definitely above the rest of the field so far tonight. After race one, obviously they're going to be starting back in the back of the field, or at least around 16th, 15th, and 14th respectively, and they're going to have to be driving their way to the front, so it'll be interesting to see them perform that. We've seen in the past, especially last week too, James Walker, he's gotten so close, but yet so far in the invert at Silverstone was just shy of winning the race there, only finishing second.
With warm-up nearly complete, we're about to head down to the racetrack for a final 25-minute race of the night. If you've just joined us, make sure that you drop us a subscription and a like. If you enjoyed watching this tonight, again, we're doing some pretty great lengths to make sure that we bring you the same quality all the time. I am sitting about 1,700 miles from my house right now, so please, I beg you. I'm just kidding. But I'm in a beautiful setting. I'm having a good time, and we're about to go racing again here for SCRS Porsche Supercup. So we'll get lined up here in just a moment, and into the darkness we will head for our second and final race of the evening in Pro-Am, and our last race in round number 5 before we head off to our next event, which will be in 1 week's time. And I'm taking a look at where we're going for that one, because it's not Spa.
Catalonia.
Go to Barcelona, Spain next week for round number 6. Let's head down to the racetrack here, Finian, and while we wait for the lineup, let's go over the first of all, the weather. It's still as cool as it was. The humidity has gone up, though, so pretty muggy evening there.
Yeah, and I was just saying, the track gonna be nice and cool. These guys are gonna have a lot of grip to work with. That being said, you gotta still watch out for those cold tires. You saw in the first lap of the AM race, that'd be pretty treacherous for some drivers. By the time the Super Cup race came around, those guys actually had the start pretty clean. That being said, it's an invert now. We inverted from 1st to 16th. All those drivers are gonna get an invert, and that's definitely gonna make things interesting here for this first lap.
Steve Bunting in the 83 car is your pole sitter. Colin Daner in second. Race Clark third. Ryan Plord, Chabelski, McBlue, Lidke, Morelli, Kalusa, and Unterkaufler, your top 10. And as always, Colin with the inspiring helmet on that 78 car. Well, tricky to see in the darkness here, but that's probably better. That's probably for the better. Give me nightmares. Eric Mickey will roll off in 11th, and Chris Hudson, Kundinger, Crum, Buchanan all the way back in 15th spot. Then James Walker, Thomas Cooper, Eisenman, Foes, Brown, Edwards Lamb, Mickey, and Isaac Snyder running out the rest of your grid. 25 minutes, about 11 laps worth of racing at Spa-Francorchamps, and we're about to turn them loose for the final time in round number 5. Bunting on the front row alongside Colin Daner. Waiting for the green flag again. We're gonna every time it catches me off guard. As we wait.
I noticed you're just about to see it.
Every time I catch myself every time, but I still, it's so hard to train myself to wait. I don't want to wait.
Well, much longer.
Well, I don't want to wait. Neither does Steve Bunting. Green flag flies. Pole sitter the 83. He fires off and away as they rumble down towards Eau Rouge for the second and final time on the start of an opening race.
Colin Daner wasting no time to get to the back of the 83 immediately. He's shaping up to try to get on by Bunting. He's going to run straight through Radial, going to cut the course. He's going to have to slow down.
Yeah, that's going to give up all that position that he had with the field invert. That will put Colin Daner out in front for now in the 78th, and Ryan Plord in second. Look at them fanning out in background, 3 wide as there's a car off in the dirt. Is that still? No, it's Brian Chabelski, I think, in the number 12. Hard to see the darkness overcoming the rest of the field here. Side by side, there's McBlue and Morelli for 4th into Lacombe.
Yeah, but into Lacombe is actually Ryan Poyler is just able to get ahead of Colin Daner. Not done yet. Daner on the switchback here as they head to the hairpin for the lead. Oh, and I think you see Zach Buchanan sideways in the background as well, but the leaders side by side.
For the top spot, Daner on the driver's right. That's the one with the yellow checkered flag. Plord on the inside, the blue and the white car. Battling for position. You mentioned the 40 of Buchanan. He slipped to 17th. He started in 15th, but he's retained at least a top 20 for now. Side by side through Hall. And it looks like Daner going to hang on for now. What a drive around it up outside.
Yeah, got a great run out of the corner. Still not out of the clear just yet. That 74 riding all on behind him. Same thing too. Race Clark and Morelli in third and fourth.
Well, I think there might be some trouble. At least some drivers held up. Kirk Crumbo, spinner. That's Bryce Calusas, number 5. He's lost it.
Yeah, after having such a good run in race, but he's going to have to start a little bit further back. Oh, and a car spin in front of him.
Isaac Snyder in the triple three.
Oh, Snyder, sorry.
Big damage for him in the triple three car. And he almost gets clobbered by Sean Foes passing by. Eric Mickey, Drew Lipke, they're side by side. Cleared for the race lead. Plord back to the rear bumper of the 78 as they head through Blanchimont for the first time.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. I had to back off there. It was looking like he's trying to make a move to the outside. Had to give way for the 78.
A big dive up the inside for Plord. Can he get to the inside before they have to make the right-hander up the hill? He's there. Stays off of him. Going to cross him up at corner exit. Race Clark is there now for third. He's got Morelli to his right side as they come out. What a first lap. Behind him, more trouble.
Uh-oh.
That's Mickey.
Which one? Eric Mickey.
He's gone around Morelli and Clark. Oh, this is a three-way fight into turn 1. Undercuffler is now a part of it.
Undercuffler, pretty decent run. Is going to still be side by side with Race Clark. Looks like he's going to back off here as they head towards Eau Rouge.
Down into Eau Rouge, speeds climbing over 140 miles an hour. Then the car under compression slams down to the bump stops as they crest the hill. Undercuffler putting pressure on Clark from behind.
Slipstream to work with here. Should have enough to make up a run still in behind. Now he's finally going to peel out on Race Clark here. Does he try to get late on the brakes? No, actually Clark late on the brakes. In behind them, Kirk Crum and Walker side by side into Lacombe.
Oh, that's really tight there. And again, it's so hard to outbrake somebody successfully in this without taking yourself out. Maybe a bit of a rub on corner exit. Walker, Crum. More trouble. Andrew Mickey this time. He's looped into Lacombe.
Not been a good night for bombshell save for Kirk Crum, but I don't want to speak too soon.
Well, hold up behind Derek Brown. There's Kyle Edwards-Lamb on the right. That's the Project 2 car that you see poking through. Then Bunting, who is the pole sitter, had a slowdown on the opening lap and was not able to make Radillon and had to drop on back. Then he's got Kalusa, who's looped it. Shabelski, who's found himself back here as well.
Definitely a lot cleaner than I would have thought, though. I would have thought I'd seen some more incidents, but just some small single car incidents. Did see a little bit of a pile of the S's in the middle of the track.
Oh, Undercuffler got on the curb a bit too much. Wasn't able to sneak up underneath Race Clark. Oh, big dive. Trying to get to the rear bumper, and once you touch that rear bumper, this car, in some ways it's like a tank when you hit it from behind, because of the way you're hitting all the weight. So it definitely feels funky, but once you get it sideways, it will just spin right like a top on you. And look at this battle behind Race Clark. Step out to the right. Here's McBlue.
Yeah, he's looking pretty aggressive, and as a wise man once said, aggressive goes around, but it looks like they're going to actually sort it out before Blanchimont. I was getting concerned they're going to hold it there, though. We definitely would have saw someone spin out. But now McBlue up and over the curves trying to make a move on Clark.
And up the inside of Clark. Clark's going to run a little wide. That'll give the 96 the opportunity to run up the outside. And now they've dragged a whole other group of cars. Kundinger and Hudson is in this fight now.
And Walker almost tried to look up the middle 3 wide there for a second. Going to be side by side with Clark into the source.
Big dive for one of the other cars in the background. I think, is that Hudson? No, I want to say that's Lidke. No, who is that car that snuck up there? Oh, car spun, and it is this time Thomas Cooper. A lot of dramas in this one. McBlue has Kirk Crum. It was Kirk Crum that I was talking about. Here he comes up driver's left.
Arnold Skark under. He's got a big run. Oh, we're going to try 3 wide?
Oh, blocked there. Nowhere for McBlue to go. And hunting around the outside. Crum's going to get the spot. And Kundinger's going to try to follow. Couldn't do it.
And then the follow single file on through. He's got his teammate Chris Hudson right behind as well. Both of those cars running 8th and 9th. Oh, Kundinger up the inside of McBlue. They're going to touch. Fenders rubbing as they come out of the corner. That was an interesting place to make the pass done. Now you see into no name. You see Cunner going to fly on the outside and get the spot.
It has been a wild one so far, and we're not done yet. We still have 19 minutes on the clock, or basically another 8 laps worth of racing. At the front, Colin Daner hangs on to the race lead over Plord and Morelli.
Yeah, Plord still keeping pace with the 78 car. And this is very similar to what we saw with Walker and Buchanan in race 1. Just 2 different drivers up near the front here in a bit of a class of their own. You actually can't even count out Nicholas Morelli riding on board with him. It's a top 3 breakaway at the moment.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds back to find Hunter Cuffler in the number 9. He's had a pretty good run in this one, but Morelli 8th to 3rd plus 5 for him, and chasing down the 2nd place car. And once you're through the 2nd, you can put all your focus forward. Through the trees. It's just absolute silence and serenity around Spa-Francorchamps most of the year. A couple nights it thunders and roars, and tonight it does with the wailing of Porsche flat 6s. Buchanan and Lidke. Oh, that's a big time for Buchanan. Going to cross up underneath Race Clark, and he's there.
Let's see if we can get it done here coming around the outside. You typically think you can get it done there. Is going to get a bit better on the gas in the 22. Should have the move done by La Source.
Up the inside, a late break maneuver for Buchanan. He is through. And some damage on that car. You mentioned you saw him sideways earlier. I wonder if those 2 things are correlated in some way. And there's Morelli. He's gotten around Plord and moves himself into 2nd, tracking down Colin Daner, the youngster in the 78. Has had a good run so far, but I'm not sure he's invincible yet, especially with that 095 coming in. Behind them, quite the defensive maneuver happening in front of Hunter Cuffler and James Walker. Hunter Cuffler to 4th, Walker to 5th after he started in 16th.
Yeah, having a really solid run at the moment, still trying to work his way up through the order. You think he might have enough time to work through the guys up ahead, or you think this might be a little bit too much?
I don't know. I don't think he's got time to get back to all the way to the front. He might get podium. I'm not sure he would get 2nd or 1st, but he's certainly on a mission right now. There is some damage to the front of that car as well, so I wonder if that is impeding his progress at all.
I'm trying to figure out where he got this damage from. He got it on lap 1. He got it when let's see, who's that car that went around when Bryce Calusa went around earlier in the race.
Didn't quite catch the entirety of that incident. I can tell
That's
you,
actually where Buchanan got his damage as well.
Oh, okay, so there must be more to that than we saw originally. Morelli has reeled in Daner just slightly, and it's now 0.4 of a second as they sweep through Saville and head towards Blanchemont.
Yeah, and now we got to see Morelli. We saw Plord try to have a crack at Daner to no avail. We'll see if Morelli can do anything different here.
Big slide over the curbs. Now the run into the bus stop chicane. Offsetting just to get out of the mirrors of the 78. He closed up big time behind them. Walker, Hunter Cuffler. Walker's to 4th already. He's coming.
So look who's right behind Hunter Cuffler, Kurt Crum. He's trying to do a switchback on the Project 2 driver here, coming onto the front straightaway. Gonna have a look to the outside into La Source. Maybe try to switch it back up the inside here as Hunter Cuffler goes in lane.
On the brakes. Oh, big miss of the apex for the number 9. That's going to let Kurt Crum on through. And he moves his way up into P5, the 87 does. Colin Daner continues to lead by 0.6 of a second. Yeah,
Field working through Rouge and Radio, and now down the Camel Straight. And Daner actually looking like he actually had a really good run out of Radio, actually expanded the gap to over a second and counting, and Morelli losing quite a bit of time.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was just a mistake coming up over the crest of the hill. And here comes Ryan Plord on the outside. That's for 2nd place, unable to complete that pass. He'll tuck back in the line.
That's going to cost him quite a bit. Now Daner has a chance of just driving away with this, which he kind of needs to again with James Walker slowly appearing in the picture.
A minute ago, I think we said he might get to the podium. He might get there, Finian. He's just a rocket ship right now. With 14 minutes left, there's still a lot of racing left in this race, and he's only 2 seconds back from the top spot.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that we're only on lap 5. It feels like we're on lap 7 or 8, but we're still fairly early in the race. Still just just approaching halfway as he's in 4th place, counting down to these top 2 drivers. Definitely think, if anything, Gainer is definitely going to be the hardest fight because Gainer has the pace of a pro driver. In fact, he's considered a pro driver for this group of drivers. So we'll see if he can hold off these guys in behind.
And Daner has been rock solid so far. He hasn't really shown any weaknesses so far in that 78 car. Morelli has been quick, but has he been as consistent as the 78? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he has it. Oh, you can see right there, hit the curve, is going to send him out wide. He's going to lose some momentum.
Now towards Blanchimont, which is all about carrying speed. That seems like where the 095 is struggling just a little bit. He's not able to carry the speed of the race leader. Plord is right there behind him. Battle for the top spot. 1, 2, 3. Daner, Morelli, and Plord into the braking zone for the bus stop. 13 minutes left in the second and final race of the Pro-Am Series. And behind him, Unterkufler's got Carter Kundinger, Buchanan, Nick Blue, also side by side.
Oh, and Mick Blue's going to spin out of the chicane, and another mistake for the 96 machine.
He's in a bad spot, too, right in the middle of where the traffic flows needs to go. They'll pull back free and drop down a whole bunch of positions. 0.3 of a second as we hit lap number 6.
Gainer fell quite a bit in the last part of the lap. Had a really good run on the first part. Is Morelli going to go flying out wide over the curbs? Almost spun out sideways.
You're dancing on the edge of grip through Radion-Fini, and if you make any mistakes at any point in that corner complex, it's going to be a really hard hit. You see Unterkufler, I think it might have been Walker also defending. Oh, mistake! There goes Ryan Plord off in Lake Home.
Looks like it's going to be a fairly minor error as he comes back into the track here. I'm not sure how much time he's lost, but he's going to pop back out in 5th place just ahead of the next pack.
Daner, Morelli, separated by 0.4 of a second. It's 2 car lengths now. 12 minutes to go, about the halfway point in this race. Does Morelli have the pace fitting? He's so close, but he just needs a little bit more.
Yeah, he is starting to get pretty close. Again, that run through Rouge and Radion just was not up to pace with Gainer. He lost a lot of time through there that he made up in the back half of the lap last time, but which I think is where this car seems to be stronger in comparison to Dainer.
We're going to find out where the strengths lie. Look at Morelli, how he's able to charge the corners, but that was too hard. He misses the apex big time. It's going to cost him a ton of time. Here's Clark and Calusa. This is for 12th.
Yeah, and I'm getting word also that Zach Guinea has a penalty that he has to serve. And
what
not
for?
Not sure why. I didn't mention why.
Could be incident-related penalty.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, here we go. For 5th, sorry to interrupt you. Here's Plord and Kundinger side by side through Blanchimont. It's hard to do this. We'll see if they can try it.
Yeah, someone's got the back out. It's going to be Plord there. It wasn't too much alongside Kundinger, and we'll give him the spot. But Unterkufler, he's still got a run now, looking to side. So another pass. Plord going to block. He's going to switch back 3 wide into the chicane.
That's Chris Hudson up the inside. Can they make it stick? They do. That was unbelievable racing there. Oh, contact on corner exit. Banging doors, trading paint. That's what racing's all about there, Finney, and that was unbelievable motor racing. And here's Buchanan. He's got to serve that penalty, but he's in the fight for now.
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to fight this, or fighting the race. I don't think he's fighting the penalty. And that's one thing I'm sorry I completely forgot to mention is the incident penalty, which we talked about in the other weeks, but especially here too. This place really bad for getting off tracks.
Yeah, Spa is known for that. The limits are really no more than the white line. And the
for 2nd place, sorry to cut you off. James Walker, great run out of Radion, is going to blow on by Morelli. Same thing with Kurt Crum as well. Now Kurt Crum going to make a pass on James Walker.
Well, I'm glad someone's always paying attention. There's Walker. He's going to have 2nd. He's through. Crum's going to get to the inside. He climbs the curb to avoid contact. Now tucks in for 3rd.
Again, still struggling through Radion, was not able to get a good run in comparison to Walker and Crum, who both slipped their way by. Crum trying to do 2-for-1 deal, but wasn't able to complete the second one.
It's all happening about 0.7 of a second behind Colin Daner, who will have to hold on for 4 more laps next time by. But now with the strongest car in the field lined up behind him, now the real pressure is going to start.
Yeah, we're going to see really now Colin Daner how good of a driver he really is, trying to hold off pretty much 2 of the best drivers in the series at the moment, James Walker and Kurt Crum in behind. Oh, big climb over the curb for Colin Daner. That might have been a little bit of a mistake.
and it costs him 3/10.
Kirkham is going to bring an interesting factor into this battle because he's putting some really solid pressure on Walker now that he didn't in the last race. You saw by the end of race 1 that was pretty much a battle between Walker and Buchanan, so Walker's able to do as much as he pleased. Now Kirkham's right in behind. If Walker's going to get a run, so is Kirkham, and we saw him there. He almost made a pass on him until it comes last time through.
No competition. You're going to work together with James Walker to get by Colin Daner. You don't win, it's not worth it. It's all about going for the race win. Spa-Francorchamps now. Look at the speed that Crum's going to carry, but he's not going to be able to keep it on the racetrack, and we don't know how close he is to that incident limit. We saw how much he choked off the exit. That tells me he's close.
Morelli was actually, you can see right there, still not out of it just yet. Again, it lacks a bit of the consistency, but the pace is still there in that 0.95 to make up if one of the leaders get it together.
4 laps to go, about 8 minutes worth of racing left. Daner, Walker, Crum, Morelli, all nose to tail 1 through 4 as we start lap number 8.
Lock up for Daner into Lasource. He's going to get a decent run off the corner, however.
Buchanan hits pit lane to serve the penalty that he had from earlier in the race, as Kurt Crum really leaning on Walker as they head towards Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I'm curious. He might honestly try to blow by Walker here. I don't think he wants to let Walker get ahead of Daner. He wants to pass Walker while he's being impeded at the moment.
That's a smart move. I mean, I don't like being in behind Walker while he gets by Daner, because then once he's free Daner, you got to be with Daner while Walker drives away. So I would get by the 97 as soon as possible. No waiting around here.
I wasn't able to get quite a good run this time through the combs. They remain 1, 2, 3.
And Morelli's just sitting here licking his chops, hoping these guys get together. And Carter Cunninger's not too far beyond that, about a second and a half beyond Morelli. Daner comes out of the corner with Walker sweeping in behind, but I've been really impressed with Daner and how much patience he's shown here. He's not pushing the car too hard. He's made a few mistakes, but they're not major ones.
No, he's got to continue this, though, for, again, 3.5 laps left to go in this race. So that's going to be a big thing if he can keep his nerves up here with 2 guys right in behind him, all going for position. And I was surprised they didn't even make a lunge last time through. But again, as the laps wind down, they're going to start to make those lunges, and we'll see if he can defend from them, which we saw Buchanan wasn't able to at the last lap. We'll see if Daner fares any better.
It's so hard. It's so circumstantial if you can hang on to spots here, Finney. I just think there are some passes that if a driver gets a good enough run, you cannot defend from. And it's sort of unfair because it doesn't matter. You can get the best run of your life. They're still going to have the slipstream. So the best case scenario is that you defend and they get up alongside you. The worst case, they blow by before you even get to the corner.
Speaking of a run, here comes Walker with a great run here. Got the back up, didn't have enough of a run here to go side by side through Blanchemont. So Daner going to keep the spot, but I don't think anyone really, from what I've seen throughout the field, no one's beat Walker up through Eau Rouge and Réunion. That's where he's been king of getting those runs down the Kemmel Straight, and that's where he's been able to make most of his moves tonight.
He's been really, really good, and now at the exit of the final corner, 3 laps to go now for the top spot. Daner, Walker, Crum, Morelli, 1, 2, 3, 4. Walker is closing in little by little, and now the mirror getting fuller and fuller. The headlights a distraction for the 78.
Oh, he spins the tires coming out of the source there. You see him get sideways to the other side of the track. He's able to continue on, but again, these small mistakes start to compound. Yeah,
they do, and again, they're just little ones here and little ones there, but a little one with James Walker marking up the tailpipe is going to mean that he's going to take a big advantage out of that. Ryan Plord, he's looped it. I think this is on the exit of La Source.
Yep.
So he's going to get back rolling. He'll lose a bunch of spots, but here comes Walker now. It's pretty much game over for Daner if he loses this spot here.
I don't think Walker's got enough of a run. Who's going to be deep on the brakes? Walker makes a pretty large lunge around the outside.
Oh, Daner, look at him climbing the curbs. What a great defense by Daner. That is so hard to do. He just climbed up and got a hold of the curbing and went with it. Walker now defending from Crum.
Walker is whipped sideways through that section. You see Crum now going to peel off to the left side. Going to look around the outside into the hairpin. Can't pinch Walker down, and he's going to be out wide now. Morelli also having a bit of a look from 4th to 3rd.
Yeah, and that was a crucial thing for Daner to do, because now he's only going to do that twice more. So he blocked one of those moves from happening. He's learned something. Dive in there, jump the curbs, you can hang on. I don't think Buchanan, when he lost the position, I'm not sure that he was as aggressive climbing the inside of the corner as much as he could have been. And Daner was able to straight line it from there and was able to hang on. That was a great move.
Again, we have to see if we can keep it up. These moves are only going to get more and more aggressive. The guys in behind get more and more desperate here with the laps closing in. Especially Kurt Crum. I feel like he's been pretty quiet compared to how he normally is, so he's definitely planning something.
1, 2, 3, 4. Pick me a driver here, Finney. Who's got this?
I think Dana's got what it takes to hold it off. It was a great move he did defending last time by through the Kemmel Straight. Let's see if he can pull it off 2 more times.
Heading towards the bus stop chicane. You'll only see it twice more after this. Dana a little bit wide at the exit of Blanchimont, but carries good speed.
Oh, and Morelli, this a really big dive in behind, and 3 lengths of the chicane for a moment. Walker gets put back to 3rd place. Morelli up in a second.
Oh, that was huge. That was huge for Dana. He just drove away from all that. What happened there is the darkness sort of concealed all that. Let's go look from up above. Was it a mistake by the 2nd place car? Diving in, it was Morelli that came in from behind, but even a lockup there for Walker.
Yeah, it was both those things. Morelli with a great dive, and then also Walker, as you saw, making that mistake. I think might have been too concerned with the mirror. I think he saw Morelli coming and was a bit too concerned and distracted. So he's going to drop to 3rd, back in behind Morelli. Now Dana's got some breathing room to work with.
He's got a ton of breathing room and 2 laps left to use it. So he's running out of time that he's going to have to defend. Kundinger and Crum, they're side by side. Look at them down the back straight. There's Morelli and Walker also battling for a spot. This is all letting Dana get away.
Yeah, and Walker has to make this pass this time, by the way, as he's not going to really have much of a shot of getting past Dana. And Morelli going to get deep in the brakes into the Crum's going to have to back off, and now Walker going to blow on by.
Walker took Morelli to school there through Lacombe. That was amazing. As they went through, he just snuck up around the outside, made that one look easy. Morelli hangs on in front of Crum, but Dana 1.2 out front. He's going to hang on for a lap and a half. Given his previous lap, I think he's probably good enough to hang on to this, because it's one thing to get there, Finn, a whole other thing to pass him. And if he doesn't get it done by the time they get to Radion, actually the end of the Kemmel Straight, then it gets infinitely harder to make that pass complete.
Yeah, but you still got the run through Blanchimont, but again, that's a much more riskier move, especially into the chicane. You got to put it's pretty much all or nothing. You either go in deep and hold it, or you're going to go flying through the chicane here as you look for that battle now for 3rd. Morelli and Crum trying to get back on by. And
Crum going a long way around. That's hard. They're going to touch. Ooh. Crum's going to get sent out a little bit wide here. But now he's got the inside for the next corner. Back and forth, back and forth.
The car up to the apex, and it's still going to be side by side now. The corner going to Morelli, this time through a right-hand corner. He's going to clear Crum.
Oh, he's going to run him out into the gravel. All the way out over the edge of the curbing. Crum still had overlap. Now Morelli re-clears him. It's all about building that run towards the bus stop.
That Crum's not going to back off now.
Here they come, side by side through Blanchimont on the outside. He's going to take the long way around to carry the momentum. Up in front, Walker has run down Dana, a 10th between them. Crum backs out, does the crossover.
He's got a bit of a run here. He's going to be looking on the left-hand side, heading to the chicane. If he can get deeper on the brakes of Morelli. No, Morelli going to back it in really tight. No, he's going to slide through the chicane.
And Morelli's out of it. White flag for Colin Dana. 0.3 of a second is the gap over James Walker.
Oh, he's a sitting duck now, still good. Walker made that gap up pretty well through the last lap. He's got to hold him off one more time.
And now, if you're Colin Dana, all you're doing now is trying to kill the momentum of the 97. I would slow him up here on entry to Eau Rouge. If Dana doesn't do that, he will lose this race. You see the gap that Walker's built. This is on purpose to get a run.
Dana heading up through like normal. That's going to open the door here. Walker, a great run as usual through Eau Rouge and Radion. Now the run down the Kemmel Straight got the draft to work with as well.
0.2 of a second, 1/10 of a second, 0.5 of a second. Here comes the overlap. Swings out to driver's left. Drag race to Lacombe. Dana out in front for the majority of this race. Walker wants it to driver's left. He's going to have this here. Squeezed by Dana as they come through Lacombe. He's out in the gravel. And Walker is through, but Dana still got overlap on the inside. They're going to touch again. Walker's through the top spot.
Walker just took him to school right there like he did before with Morelli. Fantastic driving from the 97. Move Colin Dana out of the way without actually touching him, but aggressive driving is going to give him the front. Now Dana, again, he's got one more shot potentially through Blanchimont and the final chicane, but again, I don't think it's enough with Walker out in front with clean air.
Well, I can tell you, Dana did not make that easy for Walker, but Walker, using his skills, he's gotten it done. Half a lap left for the 97. Out of Canada, won the earlier race this evening. Can he do 2 in a row and sweep at Spa? Dana, Kundinger, Crum, and Hudson. Top 5.
Oh, Dana, really big lunge. You're going to go way wide out of line. That pretty much killed any chance he had of getting back.
Crum's looped it. He's lost it. From spun. He's going to drop out of the top 5 here as Lidke goes on by. Or excuse me, Morelli. And now the last sector. James Walker starting this race in 16th spot. The full invert, taking him all the way to the back of the 16-car inversion. And he charged his way through the field, taking his time. Then he got to Colin Daner, who put up a fight, a valiant effort by the youngster in the 78. But Walker did what he had to do and took two people, both Morelli and Daner, to school. They learned something today. And James Walker, I think he taught us that he's maybe the championship favorite as he comes out of the final corner. Checkered flag at Spa-Francorchamps. James Walker sweeps at Spa.
And a fantastic drive by the 97. Absolutely deserved both wins tonight. Great driving.
Colin Daner, got to give him a huge heads up, though. That was unbelievable racing. I mean, for a man of his age to be able to race like that and not completely crack under pressure, I don't think he cracked Finian. He just got passed.
No. Yeah, he just got straight out-driven, which again, and Daner, as you're saying, he put up a really solid fight. I thought for a second there, halfway through, that he had enough of a run to hold off Walker, but Walker made the really excellent driver.
Well, it started off messy. There'll be a lot of discussion about this one tonight. There's a look at your race results. Walker, Daner, Kundinger, Hudson, Morelli, your top 5. Then Lidke, Crum, Kalusa, Eisenman, Kyle Edwards, Lamb, your top 10. We'll jump on out of the rest of the top 20. Mick Blue, Mickey, Shabelski, Plord. On the other Mickey, that would be Andrew, Sean Unterkuffler, Isaac Snyder, Steve Bunting, Sean Foes, Race Clark, Eric Brown, and disappointing end for Zach Buchanan and Thomas Cooper. They will end their race without completing the event. So we'll jump away for just one moment. We'll be right back for post-race interviews. Welcome back live to Sim TV and the SCRS Porsche Supercup. Here now with Zach Buchanan, whose first race tonight went well. Zach, second one not so much. Take us through your evening here at Spa.
It was a rocky evening. The first race went super well. I surprised myself in qualifying, and even though I was lucky enough to get past James because he got a slow down, just leading at Spa on the last lap is the last thing you want to do because you're just a sitting duck, like Finian said during the broadcast. So, yeah, the first race was good for me, and then the second race I just got caught up in some first lap trouble. Nothing I could have really done. It just happens, you know?
Well, next week we head to Barcelona, which is, I believe, the site of your first, at least Ferrari Challenge start last year. So you're familiar with the racetrack. How do you think you'll do there next week?
I'm hoping I could do well. It's a track I'm usually good at, but usually a track that I'm good at means that the quicker guys are even quicker. So I won't be surprised if I have to really fight to try to be at the front next week.
All right. Hey, Zach, nice work tonight. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Moving on now to Colin Daner in the number 78, who finished in second tonight in race 2. It was a valiant effort, Colin, to try to hang on to that top spot, but it wasn't quite meant to be. First of all, super impressive driving tonight. Led a whole bunch of laps earlier in the race, checking the numbers. You led 9 of the 11 laps. Take us through your night and that battle with James Walker at the end. Doesn't look like we're going to have Colin Daner. We're going to try Carter Kundinger. Hey, Carter, you got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, Carter. Third place tonight in race number 2. Kind of a wild one out there tonight. Take us back through your race and tell me what happened, because there was a lot of stuff going on out the windshield, and I'm not sure we caught it all.
And honestly, overall for me, I think it was just a pretty good night. I didn't really have too much high hopes coming into Spa. I've never really been too fast here, and the big issue I know was going to be instant points. So that first race, I mean, I was able to just kind of keep up with the fast guys, which was good. Just had a minor lockup going into Lacombes, I believe, and just kind of lost it there. And then, so that kind of ruined that race. And the second race is the invert, and you already always know with the invert, you never know what's going to happen. And I think the biggest moment of the invert was, I think it was me, James, and Kurt were 3 wide coming out of, I don't know, one of those corners. I don't remember the names, but we were 3 wide, and it just wasn't going to happen. I got shoved off, and it was controlled chaos. At least I think it was controlled, but it was just at least chaos. But no, honestly, to come home with a P3 in that second race is a win for me.
Carter, thanks so much for talking. We'll see you next week at Barcelona. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Right, again, to get Colin Daner here. Finished second tonight in the number 78. Colin, impressive driving tonight. Wasn't quite able to hold off James Walker there at the end, but take us through the finish. Doesn't look like we have him. James Walker. Hey, James, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, James. Well, tonight, really impressive drive, especially in race 2. Colin Daner led 9 of the 11 laps and wasn't able to hang on to it. You just took a couple people to school in Lacombes there tonight. Take me through your charge forward in that pass on the last couple laps there.
It was the riskiest pass I've ever made because I was on 8X. So if we made contact, that would have been a drive-through, and it was on the last lap, so you couldn't serve it. So it'd be like 40 seconds back. And I gotta risk it for the biscuit. I'm going all in.
Well, you were all in tonight. You swept the races here. We head to Barcelona next week. Is this success something we can expect to continue?
I think so. Barcelona is an okay track for me. I definitely have some better tracks, but I mean, it'll probably be a close field.
Thanks so much for talking to us. Nice runs tonight. Really impressive out there, James. And we'll talk to you at Barcelona next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Finian had to skedaddle, and I'm exhausted. I've been up for a long time today, and I got to get out of this media center before they kick me out. So I'm going to be done for the night. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again on SimTV on Saturday afternoon for the next event for the Formula I Championship. They'll be headed to their next round on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern. We'll see you there on Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.